And I invite the speakers to be on the dais who are with me, Madhavi Mehta, Manesh Mehta, and Rajendra by Sahani and Ramtirth. Please join us on the dais. Mr. L.D. Patel was supposed to speak, but I think the delegates have kept him too busy, so he may not be able to be with us physically. So we are starting our next very wonderful session on mysteries of human life and universe. Since the time immemorial, mankind, even the seekers, meditators, rishis, they have all been in search of the ultimate truth, trying to unravel the mysteries of human life and universe. From time to time, enlightenment has come to the people and they have tried to unravel the mysteries. In the present time, in July of 1958, a simple householder, A.M. Patel, gets enlightenment amidst the crowd of Surat station platform. And when that came in, all the mysteries of life and universe were unveiled to him, and he could see in his pure knowing, seeing light, all the secrets about who am I, how the mind-body speech functions, how the karmic bonds get charged and discharged, how the universe is created or it is being governed. So everything was clear to him, and he has simply given to all of us in a very simple language so that we can understand it and it can be useful in our day-to-day living. So the session highlights, we will have 7 subheads. First is human life, a unique ongoing live experiment. Human life is an experiment, and we'll see how it works like experiment and who is the experimenter and what are the natural rules of this experiment and experimenter. The second is based on that we need a practical application, so purpose or goal of human life, and free will, or how best we can use our free will part. The fate and free will also has been a mysterious area since very, very long time. Third is the basis of life, that is Pratishthitatman, belief soul or superimposed soul, and pure soul or Shuddhatman. So Dr. Panneerselvam, here we can again expand a little more on what we were talking yesterday, fundamental consciousness and functional consciousness. And Bhatt Sahib has also expanded a lot on these things, as well as the 3 states of Atman, Bahirmukh Atman, Antaratman, and Paramatman journey. The fourth is holistic science of human life with nature, natural laws and natural regulatory system. Fifth would be yoga and meditation, which is a very, very common topic or all across the world. Again, some few left out mysteries, and 7th is contemporary relevance of Dada Bhagwan's philosophy. So I'm starting in little unconventional way here rather than topic 1. I'm starting with the topic which Lalabhai was supposed to take, that is yoga and meditation with his presentation, and then we will go to our routine. Here I am using his presentation, but before I go with his presentation, I always think that what is the purpose or aim I want to achieve through. So to my mind, yoga has 3 important purposes. You may add more. 1, Chittavritti Nirodh. My reflective consciousness, which is wandering outside all the time, can I restrain and bring back inside so that I can have the taste of superior happiness or bliss of the self? Second, Samatvam Yogam. Can I remain balanced in all varying situations of life which we all pass through? Sometimes very joyous, sometimes very sorrowful, sometimes disturbing, sometimes making us flattered, whatever. But Samatvam Yogam, how can I remain equanimous or balanced, or simply to stay steady from within? The third is to join with the ultimate, that is Atma Yoga. Yoga comes from yuj dhatu, that is to join, so I want to join with Atma. So I think these are the three primary aims of yoga, and whatever yoga the world is into right now, to my mind is more concerned with the body. So it's good. It gives us little good physical health, and to some extent pranayam, so to part of the mind. But Patanjali's yoga was Ashtanga yoga, and in Gita Krishna says that yoga may be at body level, speech level, mind level, and ultimately it is the Atma Yogi who is the best or who is the ultimate. Yeah, I will later on put it below, but I was to change the, so fine. So yoga means to join or to synchronize. This is his presentation. Everyone is the unique creation of Mother Nature. Look to all other animals, they live a life in synchronization with Mother Nature. We are the ones, humans, who are not in harmony. In these times, there is a lack of harmony among one's mind, speech and action. This is Dada Bhagwan's revelation of the present time, that what I think I do not speak, and what I speak I do not practice. So my mind, speech and body are not in harmony, and there is an imminent need to comprehend the innate concepts of living and yoga. So the body itself is a basic tool consisting of gross body, subtle or energy body and causal body. Also we have antaskaran, which we have been talking, having mind, intellect, reflective consciousness and ego, and above all we have a unique Shuddhatma or pure soul self. It is imperative that the assembly of these powerful tools functions in synchrony or harmony with each other in a concerted manner so as to serve the ultimate purpose of human life. Otherwise, malfunctioning of even one component derails the journey of this precious human life. So yoga may help us to have the harmony of all our body parts, gross, subtle and soul. That's what it is said. Meditation, the world over today, there are many methods of meditation, and with all its merits or virtues, it's a good beginning first to start with focusing my reflective consciousness, which is all the time shattered. I'm trying to bring in and focus, and with some good benefits. But to take it further, the enlightened ones or the Vitaragas say that the meditation, or actually I'm not sure, but Sahib, if dhyan and meditation are same or not. Because dhyan has much a wider meaning, and meditation, the English word probably doesn't convey that much wider sense. But if I talk of dhyana, the dhyata and dhyay, one which joins the dhyata with the dhyay is the dhyan. Suppose I have to catch my flight after 4 hours, then airport will be in my dhyan before 3 to 4 hours. So that is one thing. So for the life journey, if my dhyay, aim or goal is clear, then the dhyata can join with the dhyay or goal. Unless my dhyay or goal is not clear, I'm not sure. Second important concept is, sometimes I try to keep God as my dhyay or dhyata, but as long as I'm not aware of who is God, how is God, so to have the dhyan of known or unknown, so I should try to know my dhyay, and it's with its all aspects. And the third important concept the enlightened one says, every moment of life, every human being is in some dhyan. And dhyan is a state of being, and dhyan does not require egoism. This is another striking revelation by Dada Bhagwan, that one which you are trying with egoism is really not a dhyan. Dhyan is a spontaneous state of being where ego is not required. So human beings are in one of the 4 states, either artha dhyan, that is self-disturbing state of being. I'm not disturbing any other person, but I'm disturbing myself. Why it is not good? Because that also leads to karmic bonds, not only to lack of harmony and not only to lack of happiness, but karmic bonds. And all the wise ones have said that the anxiety or worry or stress is the biggest artha dhyan, and it can lead to a lot of karmic bondages. Why? Because it comes out of ill understanding. The second is Raudra dhyan. I am disturbing somebody else, and if not expressively in my mind, I have some violent vibrations that I will see her or not. All the inner weaknesses or kashais, anger, greed, pride and deceit, they are included into this Raudra Dhyana. The third is Dharma Dhyana. The Dharma Dhyan does not mean that I go to temples and do the ritualistic practices. Yes, it is good. It may help, but it is not necessary that sitting in the temple I will have a Dharma Dhyan. So Dharma Dhyan is a state of inner equanimity, harmony or a balance, and especially when the situation is there which can lead me to Artha or Raudra Dhyan by inner correct understanding, I am resolving my inner self to bring it back to Dharma Dhyan. And the fourth is Shukla Dhyan. If one is fortunate to realize or have the conviction, awareness and Purusharth for the pure state of being, one can have the Shukla Dhyan. The scriptures say the Shukla Dhyan is not possible in the present time, but every rule has exception and it has been possible for many people. So that is a little more to add what his presentation is trying to show, what the holistic scientist Dada Bhagwan has given as a holistic perspective to these commonly used words yoga and meditation. Then this is all the description of what I have already said, so I am leaving. Samadhi. Dada Bhagwan said Samadhi should be with the open eyes. It is not necessary to be with the closed eyes, and actually it is freedom from I-ness and my-ness from within. If one gets free from I-ness and my-ness, the Samadhi will be easy. It's a natural, effortless state and it should pervade through all your activities, walking, sitting, eating, doing all your work. We are liberated only after attaining such a Samadhi. And the real Samadhi is that which remains with full awareness of the five senses. Different types of yogic living he has taken, Karma Yoga, Raj Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. I think I am not going to go into details of that, but one thing it comes to my memory that Dada Bhagwan was saying that these yogas are not really the discrete ones. At any given time, the bhakti is nothing but to approach near and near, and it is proportional to my understanding. The understanding with which I attach the values, bhakti is the result or it comes in. The karma and activity people attach with mind, body, speech only, but it is a gross or the discharge, and the inner side is a bhav karma. Again, it is associated with the understanding. So most of the times the components are interlinked, maybe in a more or less proportion. So here I leave his presentation, and the questions on this will take collectively, right? So now I go to my original sequence of the first part. So human life is a unique live experiment. This many of you may be hearing first time, that how come human life is an experiment. But the enlightened ones say, Gnani Purush, that it is the unique, ongoing experiment, most significant in the universe. So what is whenever we say experiment, there are two parts, experiment and experimenter. So here the part of experiment is my inner processings, mind, speech, body, antaskaran, and outer happenings along with the natural laws and natural regulatory system, and living as I am from within is the experimenter. So here the things are very simple, that if I have the correct knowledge, if I know the fundamentals correctly, the result of the experiment will be desirable or correct effortlessly. But if I do not have the correct knowledge of the experiment, if I do not know the fundamentals, no matter how hard I try, the result will not be there. It is true for everything. So first part, trying to understand the mysteries of this experiment, what all can I do independently? This is a question, right? Now, whenever the things happen according to our expectation, the conference goes very well and Panneerselvam Saab can justifiably say, oh, I organized a nice conference. But if something is haywire, then we will say, oh, the participants were moving outside, the people did not manage the time, the systems were failed. So when I do a nice surgery, I say, oh, I did a nice surgery. But when there are complications, what do? I say, oh, your body immunity was not good. I did all my best, but your body did not respond nicely. So we speak two languages. When it occurs according to my expectation, I say, I did it. When it goes against, I say circumstances were not good, and sometimes I say my Shani Maharaj was not good. So call somebody who can. So what is the truth then? Okay, am I independent doer? Who runs our body functions in a sleep? Do we ever think we have a nice delicious meal and we are snoring? Who is running all the functions inside? For a minute, if the heart stops or takes a rest, what will happen? So there is something which is running everything, even if I am sleeping in my absence of my awakened ego. So for each event, there are so many scientific circumstantial evidences which has to come in a perfect sequence for the things to happen. Even if one of them goes haywire, Kalpana Chawla space shuttle, one evidence out of lakhs and lakhs of things correct, and it crashes. So am I in control of all these evidences or circumstances? It happens. So Dadaji said, we believe that we are doer, but it happens. And this happening is by accumulation of so many scientific circumstantial evidences. Obviously, our intellect will accept that I am not in command or control of all these circumstances. He has made a categorical statement that nobody has been born on this earth who could have total command or control over the circumstances, neither Lord Krishna, neither Lord Mahavir, neither Dada Bhagwan, in the part of happenings or circumstances. An incident has so many causes, an accident has T-double-O too many causes. We say sometimes, oh, the accident occurred. No, there are too many causes coming together for that accident to happen. Daily we are driving in those traffics and we do not have the accident, even if sometimes we have a nap in between. But sometimes, even though with utmost care we meet with that accident. So there are so many subtle factors, cosmic factors which are acting. Leave aside this part of happenings. If I come inside, am I independent about my mind? Here I am talking about my discharged mind. We already saw that if it would have been so, people would not have to go to Himalaya, and despite going to Himalaya, they are failing to control the thoughts. So I am not independent about my mind, and that is realized most when somebody criticizes me really very hard or says me abusing words, and my mind doesn't allow me to sleep at night no matter how hard I try. Am I independent about my speech? Yesterday we saw that I am not the independent speaker, and it just comes out, and body, there would not have been need of doctors. So this part in Gita, Krishna also said, Yantravat Sarva Bhutani, meaning thereby this part of happening, mind, speech and body, is not in my total control. Jainism says it is Udaya Karma, subject to effects, where I am doer, but I am instrumental doer, I am not independent doer. I am certainly a doer, but I am instrumental doer, I am not the independent doer. So, to simplify, the enlightened ones say there are two parts of the life we are living. One is the part of happenings, we say, so which is depending on the scientific circumstantial evidences. Who brought us together? You were not knowing us, we were not knowing you. Some common bhava projections were there in the nature. So nature made all the circumstantial evidences to come together and for us to meet together. And second part is part of projections, decision or bhava. The first part depends on circumstances. The second part is independent of circumstances, and it depends on my understanding based on which I am projecting or making the new bhava. So how does this work? The bhav is nothing but state of being inside, living as I am, into which projections I am signing as yes or no. See, after this seminar, some people will sign, oh, this was a good, we will come back again, we will try to know thoroughly. And some people will say, oh, this was a good picnic, we have seen Surat, there is no need to come again. So all will have different projections inside and different signatures depending on their understanding. So how does that work? Whenever I decisively sign into bhavs or projections, the outside atoms or molecules get sucked in. When they were outside, they were in their pure state of being known as Vishrasha Paramanu. When they got sucked in inside, they get charged and become the Prayogasa Paramanu. And in the presence of consciousness, in the Vibhavik state, those Paramanu gets charged. They get stored inside the body in the form of causal body. If I sign into bhav of helping somebody, I am charging the atoms and molecules positively. If I am signing the bhav of teaching a lesson to somebody, I am putting the negative charge on those atoms or molecules. Now this forms the causal body. And these terabytes 4 and 5, and I don't know how much terabytes drive they have, but we have infinite terabytes drive inside on the conscious, known as the pradeshis or areas of Atma, where the physical accumulation of conglomerates of the charge atoms and molecules get deposited and forms the causal body. On the other side, it gets linked to the cosmic computer system as the fed data. And that cosmic computer system works like a very vast land computer system. So there are two types of computers, Vyaktigat or Vyasti and Samastigat or universal. So power charged in the presence of conscious or pure self will be discharged by the natural system at the appropriate time. Now let us see one or two examples. How does this happen? The male part has projected that we want a beautiful wife, she should be learned, she should be sanskari, or father-in-law should be rich. The female part has projected a design that husband should be like this and this. Now nature, it goes to nature, nature says, wait, time is not ripe. At appropriate time you will be given all the circumstantial evidences, and when the result comes, it is in a scientific form, so only wife or only husband cannot be given. You have to have father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and everything. So this is how. I had only projected one bhav that I want to be something like a doctor so I can be helpful to the people. I was not knowing where will be my college, who will be my professors, who will be my friends, who will be my future patients and my staff. The scientific circumstantial evidence, the regulatory system brings me all the evidences to fulfill this one bhav if it is consistent and constant. Our meeting, as I said, is result of some reciprocating bhavs. So how best to use this relative free will? This simple man, Rajendra, dying I think at the age of 33. But if you go through his writings, he had a very profound bhav that this must go to the every corner of the world. The vitrag or true knowledge must go to every corner of the world. And even though that body was inadequate in time spell, his bhavs are being fructified by other circumstantial evidences. That is how I see. Dada Bhagwan has similar bhav that this true correct knowledge should reach to every nook and corner of the world, such that each and every human being, irrespective of anything, should get peace, happiness and harmony, and few of them can get even the way to liberation. So this will lead us to how best to use relative free will, which Madhavi will deal in a later, so I am leaving it. And we have the question time. If for this much part, if we have any questions, we will take up and then we'll move to second part. So I think if this mystery is known to us, two things are very clear. That in a part of happenings, we are supposed to try our best according to best of our ability, understanding, care and caution. After the result comes, we just say whatever has happened is just and correct. That is what in Gita, Krishna also wanted to tell us, but people could not understand the two things, which is the part of phala and which is the part of karma. To simply put it, the things which require circumstances, accumulation or dispersion, is not karma, it is karma phala. So whatever is being experienced outside and inside in the form of transitory things, circumstances, is karma phala, and karmas are within which are not being seen by anybody else except one's own self if one is aware. This is what Krishna wanted to tell us. Mahavir also wanted to tell us the same thing. Bhave bhavana bhaviye, bhave dije dan, bhave jinvar bhajiye, bhave lahiye keval gnan. Meaning thereby you have the independent relative free will only in the part of your bhava. So use that in an appropriate way if you want to make the best out of human life. I think these are the two most important inferences out of by knowing this mystery. So we are open for questions for 3-4 minutes, and then we'll move on. Please. Please, Bhatt Sahib, please. You can have remarks, comments, everything. Please. Mike, please give him the mic. That is why I was inviting you upstairs also, but you are fine wherever you are. And this is really a very wonderful area. We all are, I request all of you to get heartily involved into this.
I would like to make a brief comment
Sure.
about two words, yoga and dhyana. The word yoga has three derivations.
Lalabhai.
In Sanskrit we say yujir yoge, yuj sanyamane, and third yuj samadhau. They are in succession. Yuj sanyamane stands for controlling the senses and the mind through yamas and niyamas. So this is a yuj sanyamane. Once you have control over the senses and the mind, then comes equanimity, which you have all referred. So that is known as a yuja samadhau, samatvam yoga uchyate. And when there is a samatva, a consequence will be that whatever actions you perform will always be righteous. And therefore, we in Gita say, yoga karmasu kaushalam. Kaushal stands for both efficiency as well as for righteousness. Word we say kushal and akushal for virtues and vices as well. So, once we have this sort of equanimity of mind and pious conduct, the result will be yujir yoge. You attain communion with the totality. The I leaves its I-ness and my-ness and becomes one with the universal, and the actions therefore will be always in the form of loka sangraha for universal well-being. So, yoga has these three dimensions which are interrelated. And you have already pointed out the interrelation, of course. I have just elaborated that particular point.
No.
So far as dhyana is concerned, you are right. Meditation is not an appropriate word for that, but there are many such technical terms in our culture of which you can't have English exact equivalent. Dhyana, in fact, has again three dimensions: the physical, the psychical, and the spiritual. In dhyana, you have to have a concentration by withdrawal of the senses. And that's why in the Patanjali Yoga, dhyana is preceded by pratyahar. Yam, niyam, asan, dharana, pratyahar, and then
Samadhi.
But pratyahar is there. Withdrawal of the senses, that is physical. Withdrawal of the mind, that is psychical. And then you concentrate on the object which you have before us, the dhyaya. So, dharana therefore has physical, psychical and spiritual dimensions, and all the three must be in symphony, in union. Then only you can have perfect dhyana, and dhyana would ultimately lead to samadhi only. So, but dhyana could be of different types, and therefore you have Dada Bhagwan also has talked of different types of dhyana, which you have already mentioned. So, I think this dhyana is needed for a successful life also. In every moment of our life, we must have this sort of dhyana, that is control over the physical, psychical and spiritual. That's why Sri Aurobindo, there is a very popular statement of Sri Aurobindo, all life is yoga. Every moment we have to be in yoga, every moment we have to be a yogi. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bhatt sahib. And so rightly said, but here what happens in a practical living for most of us, especially youngsters or even for the scholars, can we do 8 yangas of Patanjali yoga? Yama is talking of 5 satya, ahimsa, achaurya, parigraha and brahmacharya. When can I do all this, or can I do? And then, so the akrama came in, where by simple understandings and simple things, Gnani Purush made us enabled to have those results by the taking different approach of making us blissful within and giving the true understanding. Having said that, since Lalabhai is here, I would request him to share his life journey and experiences as far as yoga, meditation, because he has learned all this before and now into Dada Bhagwan. So since his presentation I have done, but we have time, please come in and whatever, I don't say, you have the time, we would love you. You have done a lot over there. We wish to you do something over here also. Please.
So, dignitaries on dais and friends, ladies and gentlemen, the yoga, when I started contemplating on what Dada Bhagwan says and what the scriptures and all says, with the help of the enlightenment and initiate in us, I could find so one thing. First off, we'll start with the meaning yoga. So, in modern parlance, if you want to put it, it is a synchronizing. SYNC, sync. The young generation use the sync. Or it can be alignment. Say, in the Kali Yuga, all your mind, speech, body has been dearranged or disalignment has occurred. So, in the present context, we can use it as a synchronize and alignment. And through Akram system, it is possible. All these 8 components or limbs of yoga, quickly, only what is novel I have found, I will tell you, the things you will find, we are not criticizing anything, but if you observe, Patanjali has given a krama. It is not, the krama has to be followed. Sequence of limbs have to be followed. That is yama, it starts with yama. And as doctor says, it is not possible, but Dada Bhagwan says it is possible. Possible, on the first hand, it may look like that we cannot speak truth in these times. But say, if you say it, we can do that, Dadaji says, whenever, say, you have to decide what is truth, and then if by chance and by mistake you say untruth, you have to do pratikraman, that is pratyahar, is a kind of pratyahar. All these are going at a time. So pratyahar, I say, the pratikraman, he has given now kalam, Gita Ben must have explained to you yesterday. So it's go hand in hand in modern times, especially because here in the Kali Yuga, what happens, you make a mistake and then you realize. In Satyuga, you know beforehand, that is a vivek, sir. So you don't do it. In Kali Yuga, the vivek comes slightly later, like the plane voice. Aeroplane goes, and you see the voice is there, but there is no aeroplane, because aeroplane, the speed of light is faster than speed of sound. So this same thing is happening here in modern times. So even if you want to control, so we'll come to the control aspect similarly. So that is yama in short. So anyway, you decide what is truth, what is yama niyam, okay? Satya, ahimsa, brahmacharya, all those things properly you understand. So understanding, he has put a lot of emphasis on proper understanding in modern context. The great service, Professor Bhatt explained to me that what Dada Bhagwan says is a Sanatan Dharma. It's a contextual, modern contextual explanation. Nobody has earlier, sir, defined this. And you defined, and I am thinking on that lines also. So how do you say without this yam niyam, this 8th step, in kramik or akram, nobody can progress. It is a fact. It is a fact, and Dada Bhagwan doesn't disagree with it. But in the contextual explanation he has given. So yama is that you first know what is yama in modern context, same thing, but your behavioral will be slightly different. then your belief. So he emphasized on the belief part. Once you are properly convinced through dialogues and this kind of counseling sometime necessary, then you have proper understanding of yama. Then whenever you break it, naturally out of control it happens. Many a times all of us have observed, okay, that we don't want to be angry and still we become angry and we realize, oh, I have done very bad thing. So there the remedy is there. You do the pratikraman. Okay, and at a time, pratikraman is you withdraw yourself, you disagree with your own behavior and decide, I won't follow this again, I will follow the righteousness. So gradually your character, that is charitrya, it glorifies and like that it happens. So that is yama. Niyama, yama and niyam, there is a difference. Niyam, as Patanjali explained, niyam is for a time bound. If you say, I will have it once in a day for 1 year, that becomes a niyama. So like that, niyam he has given, we are not going into details. Pranayam, all of you know it. The one thing is, we start with pranayam. While Patanjali says you start with yama, then niyama, then pranayam. Okay, so it has become pranayam has become a part of exercise rather than starting with yam is the best thing. And for right results, so yam, niyam, pranayam, pratyahar. Pratyahar is not much talked about, I have seen, but this is very necessary. Or your jnanendriya, they will go, okay, and you withdraw them, ashva. Like Lord Krishna has also explained in Gita. So you have to, that is the control, okay. When there is the downfall, downside way, all your, these horses, your 5 senses will go down very fast. And the Kali Yuga is a downfall, downside progress. So that is how Pratyahar is there. Wherever it goes, he says, he doesn't create any feeling of guilt. Say, guilt feeling. So if you read too much of scriptures, a guilt feeling is created. Okay, without blaming, I am telling you that you should behave like that, you should behave like that. You know it. But all of us face, say, many times in a day or so, at least, so that we are unable to follow what we believe. So he has explained without, say, to remove our guilt, that in Kali Yuga, this is bound to happen. And Duryodhan, in the beginning of Kali Yuga, he has already explained that janami dharmam nachame pravrutti, janamya dharmam nachame nivrutti. Everybody knows this in his heart, that this is not becoming possible, knowing. So Dada Bhagwan has solved this puzzle. At that time, Lord Krishna did not reply to Duryodhan, right? But this time, because there are circumstances, Duryodhan was not ready to listen this kind of knowledge. So he didn't disclose it, but Dada Bhagwan has disclosed that this, don't be disappointed. You simply do pratikramana and pratyahar. Then all nature and God will forgive you. Okay, even if you have been unable to do that. So pratyahar, dhyan Dada Bhagwan has said, dhyan in that sense, he has explained it's a contemplation. In the prayer, he says what is called meditation in present time, actually it is a dharana. We are, most of the time, it's a misnomer. Dharana is said as a dhyan. Dharana means concentration. If suppose a scholar is writing some article, it is a dharana, nothing else. It improves, it purifies your chitta. So Dada Bhavan explained dharana and dhyan are different. So dhyan means contemplation, and contemplation follows your belief system, your knowledge, core of your heart. What is your conviction, convicted knowledge? That becomes your dhyan. So your mind will go there. Suppose I believe there is a happiness in money only, then my chitta, my reflective consciousness will only go to that side. Even if I try to focus on God and Lord Krishna, and it will not happen, because I believe that all happiness lies in the wealth. So Dada Bhagwan says, rather than trying, okay, that's why people try to control the mind. Why to control? Because that is going against your will. That's why you have to control. Dada Bhagwan says, knowledge, the mind cannot be controlled without perfect knowledge. If you have a perfect knowledge, okay, then mind calms down. Mind wants the knowledge as it is. So that is how it helps us, correct? So dhyan, dharana, dhyan is that. Dharana, again, it follows your Whatever you, that is a contemplation. Dhyana is also, dharana means you focus on. Whatever you believe to be true and great, your concentration automatically goes. When some meditators were raising this issue, that my mind is wandering here and there, Dada Bhagwan said, does your mind wander when you are counting currency notes? Nobody, everybody is able to focus while he is counting 1,000 rupees notes. Okay, now it is out of circulation, but okay, so like that. So focus has not gone. Actually, your say order of priority, order of priority has changed. That's why you are able to focus on those things. So that is a dhyan, dharana, and samadhi. If it is properly samadhi, means your samadhan, as Professor Bhatt has explained to us, equanimity without proper knowledge, proper conviction, and that the samadhi does not happen. Dada Bhagwan says, it does not happen in jungle, because the jungle, nothing is there. If circumstances are not there, you will not be able to test your own samadhi. When the adverse circumstances come, then only you know that you are unable to be in the equanimity. So in absence of, normally people try to avoid the circumstances. Okay, so then there won't be, he says, I am very happy and I am very equanimous. It won't happen if you try, say you travel in a Bombay local, there your all equanimity is tested. And if you travel in that Volvo bus, no equanimity is required. So if I constantly avoid those kind of circumstantial interferences, and then I'll test. So he was advising, don't worry about the circumstances, and in a nutshell he has said that Purusharth means what does not depend upon the circumstances. It's a great definition in my opinion, which he has given. So that is the real Purusharth. Don't meddle with circumstances, meddle with your own understanding. That will be very helpful in Purusharth. So thank you, sir, for this what I had to mean. I had so much of interference there, so I could not come. I simply came here to give the presentation. Thank you very much.
So whatever has happened is just and correct. It is good that Vyavasthit brought you little later so we could hear live story from you rather than bound to presentation. And he is tasting his samadhi since many days amongst all these things. Thank you very much. So I invite Madhavi Mehta. Please come over for taking the talk further. Whatever I have talked, she will take it little further, deciding purpose or goal of life and how best to use the free will, relative and real.
Respected to Professor Dr. Panneerselvam Sahib, Dr. Bhatt Sahib, and all participants, Namaskar to all. Purpose or goal of life and use of our free will. Each of us are in search of happiness. Happiness are two types. One that is relative happiness and other that is real happiness. For getting relative happiness, to use speech, body and mind, and to attend, to oblige others. But the question arises, and for real happiness, to know who am I. In fact, human form is to get rid of all bondages and attain ultimate bliss and liberation. Knowing real self is beginning of this journey. But the question arises, how to attain purpose and use our free will. Living as I am name bearer and I am doer, only relative free will is bhavasatta, decision or projections. Let us see to bhavanas or projections. Let my mind, speech, body not hurt any living being and make one and all happy. I want to know who am I, so I wish to meet enlightened Gnani with whose grace I can have it. Obliging nature. If our intent is to make one and all happy or to oblige, then it is man product and money, name, fame, trust, love, respect will be available as byproduct free of cost. Whatever our work or life role may be, but our intent and bhav should be to make others happy and to oblige. In fact, we are first beneficiary and it does not need much material resources. main things our bhav, projection or intent. How our bhav, projections or in various situations. As students, I want to study and get ready such that not only my life becomes rich, but I can be helpful to my family, friends, society, nation, and mankind as a whole. As a housewife, let me live such that all my family members not only become happy, but attain best in all aspects, relative and real. Bow for children. I wish that they develop to get best in all aspects, relative and real, and they can be instrumental to oblige others in welfare of others. Thus, bow with broad perspective helps. How best to use relative free will? Whatever you want, decide, remain sincere, try best, pray. Nature is always helping, provides evidences within and without, even inner abilities develop. If we want to be expert surgeon, top businessman, expert carpenter, even skilled thief. Real free will starts only after knowing who am I. One becomes only knower and seer, is pure conscious, free of space, matter, kal, karma, and maya. Dada Bhagwan himself used to do 14 bhavnas, but he gave 9 quotes for us. Here we have to do bhav and the rest will follow. But can I readily change behavior, personality, traits? Can I readily change fruits or effects? No, I need to change seeds or causes. Present prakriti or behavior is result, effect or discharge of previous beliefs and decisions. Holistic inner science does not ask for forcible change of behavior, but leads to easy correct understanding. But leads to easy correct understanding, inner opinions, decisions, and projections are changed. Behavior would automatically result in future. New causes or seeds are laid down. Here it is our bhav that you all and one and all of the world may have peace, happiness, harmony, and ultimate aim of liberation. Namaskar to all.
So thank you. So this was a practical aspect of Dada Bhagwan's science. And Panneerselvam, shall we take one more topic or? Yeah. Yeah. So now I invite Manesh Mehta to take us further. We have known how our projections go to nature, how the nature works. Let's dwell a little more on human and nature relation, natural laws, natural regulatory system, and how we can live in harmony with the nature. Manesh Mehta, and I'll help him by putting his projection.
Jai Satchidanand to all of you. The topics are all interrelated. When Shaileshanandji was speaking, I think he was talking about my paper. When Madhavi Mehta was talking, I was thinking she is also talking same thing from a different dimension, different perspective. I'll try to throw upon some points for pondering. Human life, nature. I'm talking about the natural laws. Basically, nature is nothing but a result of boughs feet by the living beings getting reflected and resulted at appropriate time by way of scientific circumstances and evidences. What is the function of nature? Sun, moon, stars, everything moving in a perfect, harmonious way. This is how the scientific circumstantial evidences are operating. Is the nature driving us? As I said, nature is reflection of what we have fed into the nature. It's giving out the result in an orderly manner at appropriate time. So really, we are the creator of the nature. Nature is only reflecting and giving us results of our own deeds. So in one of the earlier presentations, the things are covered in detail. How do we change our future things? It's through bhav. A bhav satta is the only one which one has with us, a living being projecting things for future. The results will come when nature gives out its results at appropriate time. Then the question is, what is God? God is a real aspect. Real in a sense, it's eternal, non-changing, not affected by the circumstances. Everything which gets affected by the circumstances is relating to the relative world of life. Nature is said to be our own echo. This is another way of putting how the nature is going to play out in future. These are few sentences I can read. Nature is no injustice even for a fraction of a second in nature. Whatever has happened is just and correct. There are few examples, bus hitting someone on the footpath. See, in the worldly manner, we will not be able to tell that it is a just and right thing. It is only for the purpose of understanding. Otherwise, the man-made laws are going to take recourse to whatever has happened, and we need not come in the way of happening of the man-made laws. The understanding is for a person from within to get a solution of why this happened and why this happened only at this time and only to these gentlemen or the people who were there. Otherwise, no innocent is ever punished by nature. One who suffered is at fault. This is another sentence given out by the Dada Bhagwan. Other person is just a postman in the scheme of nature and is innocent. Innocent for the person who has suffered, but a person who is committing something, he might as well get the result of his deeds in some future course of time if that is a charging point for him. Living in harmony. Nature is just reflection of cumulative human projections. Abnormality in human living is seen as abnormality in nature. The tsunami, earthquake, weather disturbance, these are all consequences of unnatural living by human beings. The lessons to be learned out of this. One can have obliging nature, like all plants, trees, river, live for others. Same way, human being can also try to be of obliging nature, which would give peace of mind to them, harmony within. If we live with obliging nature, it is the best life living policy and there will be no difficulty. We are really the guest of nature because everything is provided the way it is fed by us into the system. All humans and other creatures are natural occurrences and see positive like fruits, flowers and don't look at thrones. If we live in harmony with nature and natural laws, we get the best. In part of happenings, scientific circumstance evidences through nature are doer and we are only instrumental doer. Wrong belief or doership ego binds a person and becomes cause for the future effects or future births for the human being. This is one aspect of the thing I thought we can share with you. Rest can be followed by other speakers. This is only one aspect of the science I have tried to put for the consideration. Thank you so much.
So we can take questions on to this aspect before I hand it over to Panneerselvam for his remarks for the topics till now. If anybody has any questions regarding these two topics discussed, goal of human life and projections, as well as human nature relations and natural laws. Okay, no questions? Good. So when there are no questions, either it is best explained or either everything has gone overhead. I hope the second has not occurred. Anyway, Panneerselvam ji, you are welcome.
Most revered and respected Professor S.R. Bhatt sir, my good friend and coordinator, Dr. Shaileshanandji, co-panelists and my dear friends. At the outset, I am grateful to Dr. Shaileshanandji for pondering over a very important theme which is very much essential for human life. Yeah. Okay, maybe we can close it, yeah. Which is very much essential for human life. Yesterday, we have been discussing about the philosophical significance of Dada Bhagwan, and there we have pointed out some of the interesting approach made by him, because he very rightly has shown the interconnection that exists between mind, body and speech. This is what we have discussed yesterday. And also we said the world is my world. In the sense, the world is our own ego and it is nothing but our own projection. And also we have stated yesterday that Dada Bhagwan's philosophy is otherwise known as an all-inclusive philosophy, and also a positive approach is very much available in his approach. And also in the context we made a reference to this fragmentary consciousness and then the universal consciousness, or one O capital, one consciousness, which I shall be discussing in few minutes. Now today we have taken up a very important theme, namely mysteries of human nature, human life and universe. And so far very interestingly we have discussed some of the important aspects. And our Bhatt sir has very rightly pointed out that distinction between yoga and dhyana, and also he has shown us, of course, our Shaileshanandji has also pointed out that how dhyana cannot be equated with meditation, because this is some of the problems when we translate the Sanskrit words to English, that we don't get the equivalent word, because the dhyana, as very rightly said by our chair, Professor Bhatt sir, yoga has got 3 dimensions which you don't find in our approach to meditation. Perhaps I would say it has got a meditation, the term meditation has got a very limited usage, whereas the term dhyana has got a wider application, I would say. And one important point which was stressed again and again by Dadaji in all his writings is the equanimity, which I think is very important. In the morning somebody was talking about Shaiva Siddhanta. In Shaiva Siddhanta, we talk about what I am using the word Tamil word, Iru Vinai Oppu, which means you take both pleasure and pains on the same footing. So that equanimity is something which is very important. And also it has been pointed out by the scholars here that the question that was raised is, am I an independent doer? This is a very important question, because whether we are connected to others or I am alone in my actions, because the last speaker very rightly has shown how we are using nature. What are the natural calamities that are taking place? And he very rightly said that some of the natural calamities like earthquake or tsunami are due to extra usage. I would use the term extra usage of nature. And Dada Bhagwan has very rightly has said that how human beings have the obligation towards nature. This, I think, is the universal outlook which we find only in Indian philosophical tradition. In the contemporary period, I would say, in Dada Bhagwan's philosophy, we can see that. Because the entire nature is taken into account. In fact, as I said yesterday, the both animate and inanimate are taken into account by Dada Bhagwan. This has got a very, very universal application. In fact, in the 20th century only, the Westerners talk about this eco-philosophy or eco-sophy or eco-feminism and all that one. But if you go back to our Indian tradition and or if you go back to our Dada Bhagwan, you can understand how he has a concern for nature. How, that is the reason why he says human beings are the guest of nature. To quote Mahatma Gandhi, that we can only be a trusteeship. No, we can be a trustee, that we can't exploit nature. And this has been emphasized by Dada Bhagwan in all his writings. And also the concept of happiness. This is a very remarkable statement he made. He was asking the question, is it a real happiness? I mean, is happiness real or transitory? Or he makes a distinction, I would say, between the relative happiness and the real happiness. This is also something which has to be taken into account by the contemporary human beings. And one concept which we could not discuss yesterday in detail is his distinction, how he makes a distinction between the individual consciousness and the universal consciousness or cosmic consciousness, which is very important. When I look at Indian philosophical tradition, I am amazed to see how the Advaitins, for example, look at this problem, because as you know, I should not speak when Professor Bhatt sir is here because he is authority. But I would like to humbly state that the three states of experience, for example, Jagrat, Swapna and Susupti, where there is a fragmented consciousness. The consciousness which is available in waking stage, consciousness which is available even in dream, consciousness which is available even in deep sleep. But all these, according to Shankara, would be like a fragmented consciousness. This is nothing but a functional consciousness. But there is, besides these three, there is also what is known as the pure consciousness, the Turiya stage. This is a cosmic consciousness, and I say that this is reflected in the writings of our Bhagwan. Because he very rightly says that there is a, when we are making a fragmentary consciousness, one after the other, the experience or the consciousness which I have experienced now and the consciousness which I will be experiencing afterward, we are making consciousness into different compartments. But that is not useful to us, according to Dada Bhagwan. That is the reason why he tries to talk about or tries to explain the notion of cosmic consciousness where everything is included. This is something remarkable. Here I would also like to say the Westerners, I would like to make a comparison because that by making such a comparison, you can see how our ancient thinkers and how our contemporary thinkers like Dada Bhagwan have gone beyond the Western philosophical tradition. In the Western philosophy, I'll just take 1 minute. In the Western philosophical tradition, there is a movement called phenomenological movement, which arose in the 20th century. Thinkers like Edmund Husserl and Heidegger, they talk about consciousness, no doubt. But they talk about what is known as intentionality of consciousness. That is, consciousness is always related to object or other. Now the problem is, this is a very beautiful concept, no doubt. The problem is, they are talking about the fragmentary consciousness, which means the conscious, I am conscious of time, I am conscious of my co-coordinator, I am conscious of Professor Bhatt here. So this is nothing but a fragmentary consciousness. But what our Dada Bhagwan speaks is something different. He says there is a universal consciousness, there is a cosmic consciousness which includes everything. That is the reason why we say that his philosophical approach is something remarkable and it has got a universal outlook. Here I would like to say, stop and then I'll come back once again, of course.
So thank you very much. Yesterday we were just joking at the tea tables, and spontaneously it came out, east or west, holistic is the best. We don't want to make distinction of east and west. Holistic is the best, because then only it becomes all inclusive. So I invite Mr. Rajendra Sahani, who will deal a part of leftover mysteries, and which I will complement at the end. So please.
Jai Satchidanand to all the great, honorable, highly...
6-7 minutes.
Okay. My humble salutations to all In fact, everything has been already spoken by Dr. Sailesh and all my other speakers. What I feel personally is I give you some of my live examples on the topic that in fact I had prepared was circumstances, sanyogo. I'll read a little from this and then give my example. Circumstances play a very important role in evolution and development of a person with connection to time and space. Circumstances can change uncivilized person to a civilized, illiterate to literate, rustic to gentleman, and vice versa. Circumstances are very important. And under those circumstances, one gets inner decisions, and according to the inner decisions and determination, he goes and gets again another evidences, and he goes on progressing in the life for understanding what is this all about. When I met Dadaji, I, being the senior most in 9 boys and girls, I was under quite tension by the age of my 28 and was looking for solution. Of course, from childhood, from parents, I got this religious knowledge and great sense used to come to us. I joined Ramakrishna Mission later on, and then I had joined Bhagwan Rajneesh, Osho. But still, I was not getting complete solution to my 2 questions. One of the questions was, if God is the creator, then everybody should be happy. If God is an impartial creator, then why the partiality that I'm under tension, anxieties, worries? And some of the people, because maybe money or some other factors, they look happy, but they are also not happy. If you go into details of that, I met in Nigeria one person, and I told him, you're very happy, you got so much money, hundreds of persons are working under you. He said, you come and sit in my chair, you will know. So I found that he also is not happy. And I was looking that why God will do all these things. This was my question. Another was, sometimes I don't intend to do something, like my father, he's my senior, most respected. And I sometimes talk against him with some anger and this thing. And people will say, my mother or some others will say, you are doing bad karma. And then I was thinking that I'm not intended to do this thing. I was not thinking at all to do this thing, and so happened, and they tell me that they are the karma. So that there was no clear vision about the karma to me. And these are the 2 questions I was trying to understand at Osho's lectures, and then finally at Osho's lectures, I met a gentleman known to me, my friend's father, and he told me that Dada Bhagwan is there in Baroda, in Mamanipol, go and talk to him and ask him these questions. I said, okay, fine. And then, I'm just giving you everything in short. I cannot because my time has been given to me 6 minutes. And then I went over there and asked these 2 questions. Dadaji told me that, what do you think then? Who is the creator? I said, sir, I don't know. I'm just really confused. But I don't even accept that God as a creator. God is there. I do, that there is some power, some great power is there. But he is a creator, he is a doer, this doesn't appeal to me. And I don't know who is the creator. So then Dadaji told me, when you will know that who you really are, then you will understand all your problems, puzzles, and your worries and tensions will go away on knowing this. And I abruptly said that, Dadaji, then please give me that knowledge right away. It was evening 6 o'clock time. He made a joke to me. Did you go to, if I ask you to go to the lavatory now, will you go? I said, no, sir, I don't feel like. And then he said that go to Rasik Bhai down there, he will tell you when the initiation time. And I got this knowledge within 1 hour. He asked me again under the audience, I still remember 18th August 1973, come here. Who are you really speaking? After the 1 hour, he gave me all the attributes and qualities of the Atman. What is the Atman? in so many sentences, starting from like, you know, मैं शुद्ध आत्मा हूँ, मैं निर्लेप हूँ, मैं न्यारा हूँ, मैं अजन्मा अमर हूँ, मैं अविनाशी हूँ, और फाइनली प्रकृति का एक भी गुण मेरे में नहीं है, मेरा एक भी गुण प्रकृति में नहीं है, वगैरह वगैरह. And then finally he asked me, who are you? I said, sir, मैं शुद्ध आत्मा हूँ. And then he said, but then when you go outside, how you will identify who are you? But still, that continuous 1 hour, and then plus I was feeling that, oh my God, I never knew who really I am, and today I knew this is what really I am. And then he gave me those 5 commandments, relative, real. And then from there, the things really started. And after these 5 commandments, I was totally surrendered to Dadaji, for I got the answer as 3rd commandment, that the creator is only scientific circumstantial evidences. You see? Now then that has gone ahead, that here we are together. In the gross way which we think, the cause was that we are going to have the meeting over here, and the result is, the effect is that we are all here. Similarly, anything and everything we can understand that with the cause and effect, circumstances are created by nature, and under those circumstances things are happening. This is what I have been experiencing. So sum up, as the time is already over, I say that I'm a student. I have yet not completed my discharge, that's why I call a student. But within the realization that I got, that is not in fragmentations, that is continuous, but because of my discharge, that is interrupted. This is what I understood. Thank you.
So thank you. Now I call Ramtirth for, in his way, in his perspective, what is the contemporary relevance of Dada Bhagwan's philosophy? The philosophers will always give it. But when the youngsters, when those who are not knowing any philosophy, not knowing anything, but having the life ahead, and the philosophy or the science which works in a life, and he is in a USA. So we will love to hear from him how it is working for him. Please come.
You know, it's very funny. Like Manesh uncle said, and Sahani sahab said, and Shaileshanandji said, nothing I'm going to say is new either. Why? Because the beauty of it, of the simplicity of holism, lies in itself, right? So holism comes from the Greek word holos, which means all, whole, entire, or total. You know, Aristotle said the whole is bigger than the sum of its parts. So if we take a very systematic approach, you know, in chemistry class, they gave, one subject was on thermodynamics, or, you know, we had an example. There was a styrofoam cup, and they would put hot water in this cup. And regardless of the surroundings outside of the styrofoam, the hot water would still remain hot, right? So if you just take a small polymer, a very simple polymer, styrofoam, and if you compare that to our surroundings, हमारे जो मन है, बुद्धि है, चित्त है, अहंकार, mind, intellect, consciousness, and ego, if you take this, then think about the separation that this separates us from our inner Atman, or our Jivatman, which is part of the Paramatman, right? So in 1958, Dada Bhagwan had a very divine revelation on platform number 3 at the Surat train station, right? So what he saw, or what he experienced that day, was not what we know today as Dada Bhagwan's Jnana, or Akram Vignan, or holistic, or whatever. It wasn't his. It was Sanatan Dharma, and the principles of that which were unfolded in front of him. So if you see our mural, once again, I pointed it out the first day when I spoke. You see Raja Ikshwaku all the way at the top. Underneath him, you see Adam. You see various Western religions based off the Old Testament, Judaism, Christianity, Islam. You see various Indic religions as well, Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism. And then you see great prophets or great persons after all those religions, such as Bhagwan Mahavir or Bhagwan Sri Krishna. And then finally you see Rishabdev Dada Bhagwan at the very bottom, which is Ikshvaku's divine Tirthankara form. So it is this dharma which is in fact Dada Bhagwan's holistic science, which we're referring to it as during this conference. So we were fortunate enough, however, that Dada Bhagwan explained all this, explained this Sanatan Dharma to the layman people that we are today. You know, in his very divine yet very simple words, he said, I heard in a cassette once, કે વાતોના વડા નહીં બને. વડા બનાવવા માટે તેલ જોઈએ, લોટ જોઈએ, ગેસ જોઈએ, અગ્નિ જોઈએ, આ બધું ભેગું થાય ત્યારે વડા બને. So, Swamiji, I know you don't speak Gujarati, so in English it means that you can't make vada out of just words or speech. You have to have all the ingredients present, right? So you need oil, flour, heat, all this stuff. And it's when all these things come together, that's when you can actually enjoy what is the vada, right? So Dada Bhagwan's teachings gives us a very daily, a very practical approach to all this very complex and eternal religion, which is Sanatan Dharma. And you know, all these faiths and people are illustrated in this Sanatan Dharma. And it will always be, because it is eternal. It's not just on this Kshetra, Bharat Kshetra, but it's also in many other worlds. This same Sanatan Dharma is always and will always be inclusive. And so that's what makes Dada Bhagwan's science, or once again I keep saying Dada Bhagwan's science, but that's what makes this holistic science contemporary, eternal, and forever existing. Jai Satchidanand.
So Jai Satchidanand. One more sentence I can add to that. Dada Bhagwan used to say that in whichever dharma or sabha or whatever word you use, when you see from child to eldest ones, child of 2 years, 1 year, to an elder one of 80, 90, when you see literate and illiterate, when you see females having common sense, they are not really, most of the females are not interested in much technical details. And when you see everybody is happy with smiling face, you find that there is a dharma here. Otherwise, you don't see that there is dharma. It's a meeting of intellectual people. That was what his common observation was. Anyway, so just with 2-3 minutes, whatever is remaining behind, we were discussing about the pure self and Pratisthit Atman, or a belief soul. And this is another very important revelation of Dada Bhagwan, that what is the basis of this ongoing world. And he said this Pratisthit Atman, or belief self, or a migratory self, is really the basis of this ongoing world. Pure self is just the presence of there. But what is then Pratisthit Atman? So, as the two elements come together, and I have the third extra special properties come up, that I am the name bearer and I am doer, with all the ingredients that, oh, I like this, I don't like this, I want to be, this is my uncle, and all the pratishtha gets done, and that Pratisthit Atman is the conglomerates or the samuho of all the Pudgal. So it is not a conscious, but the Pudgal which is charged by conscious, and now it gets discharged. So that is what is Pratisthit Atman, which is being seen in all the dealings of this world. So that is another aspect he made very, very clear, that how the things are really happening. Pure self doesn't get consumed at all. It's only the presence of pure self, and it's only the matter also alone cannot do anything. It's when it comes in contact with the conscious, out of the beliefs that I am name bearer and I am doer, the whole robo or a charged Pratisthit Atman gets developed and it gets discharged. So that was one small link which I think in the mystery he also could clarify that how the things are being done. And this scientific circumstantial evidences, or the natural regulatory system, it is regulating all this relative part, including Pratisthit Atman and happenings. Conscious is free of that. And the real free will because the consciousness' own power, Swabhava Satta, is totally unaffected or free of all these things. I think this is the whole picture we could draw. And again, I invite Bhatt Sahib as well as Panneerselvam. Bhatt Sahib, please, for the concluding remarks, because the conference is also getting concluded and the sessions are also getting concluded for now. So please come over and give us the blessings so that really your and my desire or wish comes true, that this becomes global, not for the sake of name, but for the sake of people's welfare. Let it be global. Dada Bhagwan humorously used to say, हम अपना नाम बनाने नहीं आए हैं, हम लोगों का काम करने आए हैं. Please come over.
On behalf of Holistic Science Research Center and Indian Council of Philosophical Research, we welcome all distinguished scholars, philosophers and participants to the validatory ceremony of this seminar. The validatory session is presided by Dr. Balaji Garonkar, former director, HSRC Surat. Would you like to say a few words, sir? Param Pujya Kanudada ji, we welcome Param Pujya Shri Kanudada ji. We welcome Professor S.R. Bhatt. I would like to ask Bala Ganpati ji to also go to the podium. And I'd like to welcome Professor S. Panneerselvam. I'd like to welcome Dr. Bala Ganpati. I would like to request Param Pujya Shri Kanudada ji to give us blessings and start the validatory ceremony.
Om Jai Satchidanand. Jai Satchidanand is our national living in this present day Kali-yuga diversified body in a unilateral way, and for that living live message to spread all around through august bodies like this, for the Sanatan Bharatiya living in all of us. That should be the guide for all of us. And it should be the center of the world, so that world ultimately, gradually, after tremendous lots of sufferings, clashes, violences, etc., they will ultimately seek that there is peace somewhere. And they will look around to Bharat. They will try to come over here. Oh, let us understand what sort of peace living is. and our this august body like this. On the 92nd occasion of Indian Philosophical Center as well as Asian Philosophical Center and all our HR activities at the national and state levels. So today my heart is full and it overflows and request Dr. S.R. Bhatt Sahib that and Panneerselvam Sahib and all of us together that 100th Indian Philosophical Center event will again take place on this place. It is a certainty, though we are not future foretellers, but our heart is for this, all of us, kindly. Is it true? All of us? So my blessings for that, and please pray for me that I should be present at that time. At this age. So, it's a wonderful gathering, and in such diverse our thoughts, thinking powers and spirituality oriented all our pursuits that has been displayed and papers submitted here and expressed the central theme of each paper here in a very large slot of time of 15 minutes or so, right? But you cannot what is there. But time is time after all. And time as an element is the subtlest of the subtle, which in these times we cannot reach that. Only absolutes can reach that time. Actually, it is called elemental time, but in our day-to-day living world, it is Vyavahar time, subject to past and future. Though giving the central message for all of us to live in the present. Very nice, good thinkers all over the world, in all over Asia. And more particularly, it has spread to other nations from India that we have seen in this congregation. That even then, moment to moment, the alertness which we should live with total awareness that our positivity cannot get attacked by the present negative atmospheres. Never, never. So, our day-to-day, moment-to-moment living has to be that alert. With that alertness, we live like that. Otherwise, time is time. Time is time. And that is universally known, so here always. समय बलवान है. और दादा भगवान को एक क्वेश्चन हुआ. आप बोलते हैं एक लिटरेरी हाई ऑर्डर राधेश्याम शर्मा, editor of Akram Vignan monthly publications, that Dada Bhagwan, many times you say that I have Agnya from Bhagwan to spread this message of unity in diversity in a spiritual way that relates to everybody in a common man's language. And who you refer to? What do you mean by Bhagwan? I have taken permission for Bhagwan, Dada Bhagwan says. Oh, it's a good question, but let me tell you that I get orders from that supreme universal state for universal living, that is Mahakal. Wonderful reply he gave, Mahakal. Mahakal. And Dada Bhagwan has said out of his research and invention of lives together, past lives, and that came into fruition in this life. Totally, with total digestion in this relative living on the bench of Surat railway station that is shown there. Simply, very simply. And our philosophers, writers, thinkers have said that beauty that keeps us very rejoiced, peaceful at heart, is in simplicity of all sorts. So, I have seen the life of Dada Bhagwan when I grew up, and I happened to be in business. I mean, with Dada Bhagwan under his divine umbrella for almost 42 years. And every moment of my being with Dada Bhagwan, right from whatever requirements of the body are there for all of us, each and every commodity, utility that gives our body sustained naturally, he used to live with such commodity in such an economic manner that any excess use of that commodity throughout, I have never seen in his living. I have not. And this was my great lesson I observed and I got. And partially it was imbibed in this body. We can know that. For example, right from morning, where we sit down for toothbrushing and all that, you will see all these things. Use of water in all sorts of living. He won't waste a drop than that is required. He was such a great economist for the humanity to understand the living economy of our life, which presently is run by paper-printed economy. But that is very essential at these days times. He said, on our construction works, we are in jetty constructions, marine works, and the staff, everywhere staff is there. So his very presence was such that from lowest labor to all supervisors and everybody, they felt that, very presence of the Dadaji. For example, I will tell you, Chandubai Patel from our village Bhadran also, he was, during the construction of this whole Trimandir complex, he came in our company at the age of 17, and he had nothing to live by. And Dada Bhagwan was known to him, and he was also known to Dada Bhagwan. And when he came in 1950. Just Dahanu station, one station towards Ahmedabad side, Golwad is this station. And there, State Government of Maharashtra, Education Department and Agriculture Department rather, they had a university they wanted to establish on the hill. So, construction of the buildings and group of buildings of that university campus came to our company's part. And then he was there. So once it happened that all the staff were, and he told that whenever we are on site for construction business, and on site, every one of us must have a very healthy meal. Though we may be living in our houses economically, looking to the circumstances, but there should not be stinginess in living. No. That was his bottom line of living. Wonderful line. And once that Chandubai, he missed one meal and he was inquiring to the accountant, दादा आज चंदूभाई ने कुछ खाया नहीं है तो पीछे afterwards he called Chandu. Why? You remember your mother? What is lacking? So he put in all that. Such love, the way he showered. We cannot understand. We cannot understand. We are accustomed with all these dravya living, but subtle living is wonderful. And this body was punyashali enough that he came to observe all that living. And to the extent the body is capable, it got imbibed also. I cannot say that it is imbibed by me. No. That is the thing. So we have gathered together on this congregation, wonderful august body for all these days. And today we are together to say each one bye-bye without leaving anybody. So my blessings to all of you. And let's, of course, such functions cannot be often, but in this research center that is going to work for small children, youth, middle-ageds, and ageds, all group-wise, it is going to see the spread of the message of Dada Bhagwan and Dada Bhagwan's way of living as a Indian Sanatan way of life and living for everybody. Vedanta Darshan and Vedanta faith, as well as Jaina Darshan and Jaina faith, that is based on Vitrag sort of living. Both, though paths are separate, very minutely, and yet when acharyas of the both, they come to an understanding of commonality of living, though paths are different, yet at the point they do meet and their final path and to moksha. Wonderful. But these are very rare occurrences, very rare. And today, Dada Bhagwan's wonderful, divine existence happened to exist in India today, and even though physically he is not before us, but let me say that he is very live in his most subtle form. Most subtle form, he is there all around. I can visualize. And so here in such functions we come to realize ourselves everywhere in everybody. So I hope we meet again as time permits, but our bhav is always there, but bhav is such that dravya, that means effective following that has to happen. It is not in the hands of time. So better we pray time that give us and make our circumstantial evidences favorable for such meetings. And with that, I bless all of you, and I ask from you to be blessed by all of you by your hearts. Jai Satchidananda.
As Param Pujya Kanudadaji very aptly said, unity in diversity, to be with each other and to know each other. We have experienced this in the last 3 days of the conference. So may we have more of this in future. Now I would like to invite Dr. Balaji Garonkar to speak.
Namaskar, Jai Sachidanand, good afternoon to all. परम पूज्य कनु दादाजी, माननीय प्रोफेसर एस.आर. भट्ट साहेब, प्रोफेसर पन्नीरसेल्वम, प्रोफेसर बाला गणपति, मिस्टर वसंत भाई पटेल, मिस्टर एल.डी. पटेल और आप सभी इस सभागार में उपस्थित विद्वज्जनों को मैं अपना प्रणाम करता हूं। मुझे इस कार्यक्रम में उपस्थित होने का संयोग संभवतः इसलिए बना क्योंकि इस कार्यक्रम की संकल्पना एवं शुरुआत के साथ ही मैं जुड़ा हुआ था और इसीलिए संभवतः इतिश्री करने के लिए भी यहाँ मुझे उपस्थित होना पड़ा है। मैं HSRC एवं आयोजकों के इस परम स्नेह हेतु उन्हें धन्यवाद देता हूँ कि मुझे यहाँ पर 2 शब्द कहने के लिए बुलाया गया है। समय बहुत आगे बढ़ता जा रहा है, आप लोगों को भी जल्दी है और मैं आपका अधिक समय नहीं लूँगा। यह वास्तव में हम सभी का परम सौभाग्य है कि देश एवं समग्र भूमंडल जो आतंक, अशांति, असहिष्णुता, असंतोष, असहयोग के साथ ही अभाव एवं सभी प्रकार के चाहे वह सांस्कृतिक मूल्यों का हो, मानवीय मूल्यों का हो या हमारे आपके किसी भी दैनिक जीवन का प्रश्न हो, इतना अधिक दुष्प्रभावित कर चुका है हम लोगों को कि इसका सामंजस्य बैठाना बहुत ही मुश्किल हो रहा है। वह कोई एक सामान्य व्यक्ति हो या किसी भी देश का राष्ट्र नायक हो। मैं केवल इतनी ही बात आपको कहूँगा कि हम किसी के साथ भी संवाद ही नहीं कर सकते। आज समस्त विश्व में ऐसी परिस्थिति उत्पन्न हो गई है। हम धीरे धीरे एकांतवाद की ओर बढ़ रहे हैं। जिस देश में अनेकांतवाद का जन्म हुआ, हमारा दुर्भाग्य है, हम सभी का दुर्भाग्य है कि आज बहुत तेजी के साथ जब हम रोड पर भी निकलते हैं या हम अपने सामाजिक या राष्ट्रीय या किसी भी प्रसंग पर हमको एकमात्र मैं सत्य हूँ, यह जो हो रहा है यह हमको बहुत ही हमको पतन की ओर ले जा रहा है। हमारे यहाँ कुछ राष्ट्रीय आंदोलन हो रहे हैं, कुछ जो है प्रादेशिक आंदोलन हो रहे हैं। मैं राजनीति में प्रवेश नहीं करना चाहता, लेकिन इतना जरूर कहूँगा कि इन सारे प्रश्नों का उद्भव कहाँ से हो रहा है? यह हमारी सांस्कृतिक मूल्यों का हनन है और सांस्कृतिक मूल्यों की रक्षा करने के लिए यह आवश्यक है कि हम ऐसे संस्कारों को एक बार पुनः पुनर्जीवित करें जो हमारे इस बहुरत्ना वसुंधरा में, भारत देश में जैन, बौद्ध और वैदिक परंपराओं में आपने देखा और साथ ही साथ उनके बाद परवर्ती साधु, संतों, महर्षियों और चिंतकों ने आपके समक्ष दिया है। उन चिंतकों में इस समय यहाँ पर सबका नाम लेना मेरे लिए संभव नहीं है क्योंकि मुझे कम से कम आपका समय लेना है। मैं इतना ही कहूँगा कि आपने 4-5 दिनों से काफ़ी बातें सुनी, काफ़ी समझी, काफ़ी एक दूसरे के साथ शेयर की है। उन बातों को जब आप शेयर किए हैं तो शेयर करने के बाद कम से कम एक कॉमन मिनिमम प्लेटफॉर्म संभवतः ऐसा बना होगा, मुझे ऐसे लगता है। और वह उस बनने के क्या फ़ायदे हो सकते हैं? वो फ़ायदे ये हो सकते हैं कि सभी के यहाँ किसी भी संप्रदाय में जो अच्छी बातें हैं उनको हम कम से कम कंपाइलेशन कर सकते हैं। जब हम कंपाइलेशन करेंगे तो निस्संदेह मुझे पूर्ण विश्वास है, जब भी हमेशा हम वसंत भाई, लाला भाई, हरीश भाई, योगेश भाई जब भी हम बैठते थे हम एक ही बात करते थे, जब तक हम दूसरों के साथ तुलनात्मक अध्ययन समस्याओं के परिप्रेक्ष्य में नहीं करेंगे तब तक हमारे यहाँ किसी भी वो हमारी सामाजिक समस्या हो या हमारी प्रादेशिक समस्या हो या हमारी राष्ट्रीय समस्या हो या अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर किसी भी बात की समस्या हो, मेरा इतना ही आग्रह है कि आपने जो कुछ भी प्रस्तुत किया है इस पर चिंतन करें, एक दूसरे को जो सुने हैं समझे हैं उनको और प्रसारित करें। यह एक बहुत बड़ा मेरा सौभाग्य है कि मुझे जो है एक ऐसा जो है, जब मैं दर्शन परिषद में मैं जब गया था पटना, उस समय मेरे मन में आया, हमारे साथ प्रोफेसर दिलीप चारण और योगेश भाई शुक्ल भी थे, कि क्यों नहीं हम ऐसा कुछ करें यहाँ होलिस्टिक साइंस रिसर्च सेंटर में। और हमारे पास इतना बड़ा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर था जैसा आपने देखा होगा और देख रहे हैं, और साथ ही साथ हमारे वॉलेंटियर्स और हमारे कार्यकर्ताओं ने जो कुछ भी आपके साथ जैसा भी जो है मैं तो समझता हूँ उत्तम व्यवहार किया होगा और उत्तम सेवाएं आपको दी होगी, वैसा संभवतः अन्यत्र देखने को मुझे यहाँ तक कह सकता हूँ कि मैं कम से कम भारत देश में तो मुझे नहीं मिला कहीं भी, वो यहाँ पर हम लोग दे रहे हैं। इसके लिए जो है मैं बहुत ही हमारे जो है वह मुरवी ट्रस्ट फाउंडर ट्रस्टी श्रीमान वसंत भाई पटेल और उनके परिवार, और इस तीर्थ धाम के जो वास्तव में जो हमारे संरक्षक हैं, संवर्धक हैं, यहाँ देवचंद भाई काका यहाँ पर बैठे हुए हैं, जिन्होंने यहाँ पर किसी भी आप लोगों के किसी भी समस्याओं को लेकर हर समय गंभीरता से लेते हुए उसका तुरंत निराकरण किया। और उस चिंतन को मैं अपना अनुभव कहूँ कि जब मैं ये प्रस्ताव लेकर जब बात किया हम लोगों ने, जब 3-4 लोगों ने आपस में, तो बिना किसी संकोच के हाँ चल के कनू दादा के साथ बात करते हैं, और कनू दादा ने तुरंत उसको हाँ कह दिया। यह मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ी सौभाग्य की बात है कि आप लोगों ने APC और IPC को करने की अनुमति दी। यह एक बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि, और इसके लिए प्रोफेसर भट्ट साहब ने जो अपनी उदारता जो सर्वत्र पूरे भारत देश में दिखा रहे हैं, और भारत देश को ही नहीं, वह अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर जो है वह जो दार्शनिक विचारों का जो विनिमय कर रहे हैं, किसी भी समय आप उनको फ़ोन करें तो मालूम पड़ेगा कभी इस देश में है कभी उस देश में है, और साथ ही साथ अपने इस वृद्धावस्था के होते हुए भी वो मुझसे ज़्यादा दौड़ रहे हैं, मुझे ऐसे लग रहा है, और हम उनकी अनुमोदना करते हैं। और आप उनको जो है तालियों से जो है उनको वो जो है उनका बहुमान करिए। मैं इतना ही कहना चाहूँगा, और साथ ही साथ एक बात और कहूँगा कि यह जो आपके जो संशोधन पत्र जो यहाँ पर प्रस्तुत हुए, ये जब छपकर आएंगे, अभी वर्तमान निर्देशिका डॉक्टर यशोधरा कर और लालाभाई साहब के निर्देशन में ये जो कुछ भी आगे जब संपादित होकर जब आपको आएगा, मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि निस्संदेह ये एक माइलस्टोन बनेगा हमारे जो है होलिस्टिक साइंस के चिंतकों को, हमारे होलिस्टिक साइंस में भारतीय दर्शन के क्षेत्र में एक नई क्रांति की उम्मीद मैं पिछले कम से कम 5 वर्षों से करता आया हूँ। इसके पहले भी करता रहा, लेकिन 5 वर्षों से इसलिए कर रहा हूँ कि लगभग 4.25 वर्ष पहले मैं इस संस्था के साथ सक्रिय रूप से जुड़ा, और मेरा पूरा प्रयास रहा कि होलिस्टिक जो विजन है, जो दादा भगवान का जो संदेश है, जो समग्रवादिता का, जो साकल्यवाद का, होलिस्टिसिज्म का, उसको हम क्यों न मानव तक पहुँचाए। यह केवल कुछ लोगों का यह धर्म नहीं होना चाहिए, यह समग्र विश्व के मानव समाज तक पहुँचे, और मानव समाज तक पहुँचाने का कार्य यह विद्वानों से अच्छा मुझे लगता है कि कोई नहीं कर सकता है, और यह विद्वानों का ही काम है कि वह इसे महत्तम रूप से प्रसारित करें अपने तुलनात्मक संशोधन पत्रों के साथ, अपने और जो उनकी अपनी अपनी जो व्यक्तिगत दक्षता है उस दक्षता के साथ में। मैं आप लोगों का अधिक समय नहीं लूँगा। मैं एक बार पुनः हमारे सभी कार्यकर्ताओं, डॉक्टर यशोधरा कर, प्रदीप भाई, अल्पाबेन, सोहिनीबेन के साथ ही साथ हमारे जो कर्म ट्रस्टी श्री है, हरीश भाई, लाला भाई और योगेश भाई, गुणवंत भाई, सुरेश भाई, इन सभी लोगों ने जो रातों दिन जो मेहनत की है, उनकी आप लोगों को किसी प्रकार की कमी महसूस नहीं होगी, ऐसा मैं मानता हूँ। उन सभी का भी हम तालियों से अभिवादन करते हैं, और इतना कहकर मैं विराम लेना चाहूँगा, क्योंकि अभी सबसे बड़ी बात कि हमको वैलिडिक्टरी एड्रेस प्रोफेसर एस.आर. भट्ट साहब से सुनना है। मैंने आपका अधिक समय ले लिया हो तो मिच्छामि दुक्कडम। धन्यवाद, आभार।
Thank you, Dr. Balaji, for your inspirational address and for starting this process last year. I would like now to invite Professor S.R. Bhatt for his validatory address.
परम पूज्य श्री कनु दादाजी, डॉक्टर बालाजी गणोरकर जी, श्री वसंत भाई, श्री लाला भाई, प्रोफेसर बाला गणपति, प्रोफेसर Panneerselvam, and distinguished delegates present here in this assembly. For the last 5 days, we had intensive and extensive deliberations on the occasion of a joint session of Asian Philosophical Congress and Indian Philosophical Congress in this campus, which is serene as well as spiritual, vibrating with the divine spirit of Dada Bhagwan, and blessed by the presence of Sri Kanu Dadaji. The theme has been holistic understanding of the nature of reality and our way of life in accordance therewith. Kanu Dadaji has already explained that holistic vision is unity in diversity. The entire world that we experience, whether it is within us or outside us or beyond us, is a unified whole. There is wide and variegated multiplicity, no doubt. But this entire multiplicity is unified by a common essence. And it is that essence we have to envision, and on the basis of that we have to lead our life. Some people may say, oh, this is a utopian dream. But no, it's not so. It is a hard fact of our life, which we live every day. Say for our organism. Our organism is a whole, having multiple parts. Innumerable cells we have. Entire organism functions in cohesion. In spite of diversity of multiple parts, all parts coexist in the organism with internal harmony, with internal symbiosis, with mutual cooperation, with reciprocal caring and sharing. The hands don't exist for themselves. The feet don't exist for themselves. The eyes and other organs, cognitive and cognitive, don't exist for themselves. They exist for the totality, they exist in the totality, and they exist by the totality. It's a hard factor, undeniable. No one can dispute this fact. No one can say that this hand doesn't care for that hand. Every part of the organism has its own function, has its own place, has its own role in the unified organism. If any organ is sick, the entire organism is sick. If any organism is well nourished, entire organism is well nourished. Well, this is an example, living example of unity in diversity. And this can be exemplified. It's not that we lead an isolated life. Just as no organ lives an isolated life. And therefore, we live in totality. In our culture, we very much emphasize the concept of Sangha. In Buddhism also we say, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. Well, I give it another interpretation. It means that we live in totality and we should surrender to the totality, means we should work for the totality. Sangha Jivan, corporate existence. Well, this is the ideal of our life, and we should lead that life. So, if we lead such a type of life, just as there is a internal harmony in an organism, Vedic seers say that there is internal order in the entire cosmos, which they refer to as Rit. And they exhorted us that we should have Ritambhara Pragya. We should have that wisdom which sees order everywhere and which acts in accordance with that particular order. To follow the Rit is Satya. Satya stands for steadfastness. Shankaracharya has said, Yad Vishe Buddhir na vyabhacharti tat satyam. This is the definition of Shakya given by Adi Shankaracharya. So steadfastness, following Rit with steadfast spirit, this is Satya. So we have to adhere to Satya. Then only we can say that we are part and parcel of Satchidananda. We can adhere to Satya if and only if we are conscious of that. So Chit has to be there. And if you are consciousness of our unified existence, definitely it will give rise to bliss and happiness, Ananda. So the caption Satchidananda is very full, meaningful, and it represents the holistic nature of our existence and also of the entire cosmos. And therefore when we greet each other or one another, we say Jai Satchidananda, which means that let us have a cultivation of a holistic vision. Kanu Dadaji referred to another very significant point. He says, we live in the present. And therefore, we have to care for the present. Just as a wheel of a chariot touches the ground at one particular point only. All the points in the circumference of the chair don't touch the ground at a particular time. That particular time is the present. But that present is based on the solid foundation of the past. And therefore, we have not to neglect our past. If we neglect the past, we will fall down. So, our past is meaningful, it is valuable, but it should add to our present day living. It should not be a dead past. It should be an enlivening past. That's why usually I say we need not parrot the past. We should only draw out all that is true, good and beautiful in the past. Of course, we have to live in the present and we have to care for the present. But our eyes should be towards the glorious future. This is the holistic vision. In a holistic vision, we don't just care for the past or for the present or for the future, we care for the totality of time. Time is very important. Yesterday I had an occasion to go to Ujjain. I slipped away from for a day. Mahakal, there was Mahakal celebration. Kala, we say, Janyanam Janako Kala Jagatam Ashrayo Matah. All that come into existence, living and non-living, they are time born. And time is the foundation of the entire this moving world. Jagat means that which originates, that which sustains for a while, and that will culminate, mutative. This is the mutative world. Isa Vashopri also say, Jagatyam Jagat. The Jagat is Jagatyam, constantly moving ahead. We have also to move ahead. We have not to remain confined to the present. We have to move ahead. But we can move ahead only if we have a holistic vision. That's why the message of Dada Bhagwan is very much relevant, not only for we Indians, it's relevant for the whole humanity all over the world. And it should be disseminated by this center as well as by multiple centers which may be established in different parts of the world. So, this idea of keeping best use of time, being in the present, remembering the past and viewing the future. Well, this should be the message of our deliberation on the holistic way of thinking and living. In our culture, there is always emphasis not only on coexistence but also on cooperation and on mutual caring and sharing. And that's why Tyaga, renunciation, has been highlighted very much in our tradition. We use the word yajna, whether it is Pancha Mahayagyas or the yajna of the traditional type. Always we offer. In every yajna there has to be an offering. Of course, in a mundane manner we offer only this ghee and java and sarshap, but in fact ahuti is of our endeavor, our enterprise. We always have to act. Gita says you can't remain inactive even for a single voice. But how should we act? Why should we act? For what we should act? Which should be in the form of a yajna, Brahma yajna, wherein we say we all offer our offerings, our enterprises, our endeavors, physical, mental, intellectual, whatever. But we say idam na mama. Very important. This is not for me. My offering, my activities, my life is not for myself. It's for the totality. This is the holistic vision. Idam na mama, idam indraya swaha. And then, when we act together, Sahaviryam karvava, when we act together, the result of the activity should be commonly, judiciously shared. In our culture, therefore, we talk of ahimsa and aparigraha. Ahimsa means not to deprive others from their legitimate means of livelihood, legitimate means of enhancement or efflorescence of their inner essences. This is ahimsa. Ahimsa is not just a mere non-violence as it is understood in the Western tradition. It's a very deep meaning. Not to deprive anyone, animate as well as inanimate, from their legitimate existence and development and growth. And aparigraha. Dadaji made a reference to this, that we should enjoy only that much which we need and keep the rest for others. for others of the present generation as also for others of the future generation. So, aparigraha stands for both intergenerational justice and also intragenerational justice. It's an ideal which is highly significant, and it is the core of Indian mode of living. Isavashu says that Isavashubhidam sarvam jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitaha. You have to work and you have to work full 100 years. Well, on behalf of all of you, I pray that Kanu Dadaji lives for more than 100 years to guide us, and under his guidance we shall be celebrating 100th year of the establishment of Indian Philosophical Congress. I wanted to speak on two, three other points, but Dadaji wants me to speak on Jai Satchidanand. Let me take this opportunity, and I take it to be his order, so I speak on that. When we say Jai, it's not just a slogan. Jai stands for our heartful engagement. And this heartful engagement is not for victory. Jai should not be understood as victory. Heartful of mutual enhancement. Everyone has a capacity of fullest possible development, but that is possible only with the help of others. We don't lead an isolated life. So, we help others and others in turn also help us. There is this sort of mutuality in our existence. So, when we say Jaya, it is mutual exaltation. I say Jai not to just myself. Of course, I can say, well, let me also be say fully victorious in my life, means fully developed or enhanced in my life. But I say Jai Satchidanand to others, means let everyone exist, and not only exist but also prosper. And that's why our culture says Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukbhag Bhavi. This is Jaya. Jaya therefore is a highly potent and poignant term of our culture. We don't say, as the prayer of American Parliament, whenever there is session of American Parliament, Professor Ramarao Papu is not here, well, they say, God bless America. With that slogan they start, oh, you know it. But we never say, God bless India. We never say, God bless me alone. We always talk of the universal good, cosmic harmony. So Jai stands for that. Jai stands for the entire world. Jai Jagat. This is also our slogan. Jai Jagat. Let the entire world be a place for happiness, where there is Madhu Vata Ritayate, Madhu Sindhava, and so forth. Let this entire world be a place for Ananda, because reality in its heart is Ananda only. Rasau Vaisaha, Rasam Ladva Puman Anandi Bhavati. So Ananda is the highest goal, Satchit and Ananda. But then, in order to enjoy Ananda, we have to exist. And we have to exist as a healthy person. If we are diseased, if we are not at ease, how can we enjoy? So, existence, but meaningful existence. And existence wherein we do care for our needs but we do not get entangled into greed. This sort of existence is meaningful existence, where we exist with the spirit of sacrifice. So, the individual should sacrifice for the family, and in fact we do that. Family should be sacrificed for the community, community should be sacrificed for the nation, and the nation should be sacrificed for the entire world. When we talk of nationalism, our saints and seers and thinkers never talked of a narrow nationalism, bigoted nationalism. Always we talked of enlightened nationalism. You read Sri Aurobindo, you read Pandit Dindayal Upadhyay, they have never had a truncated view of nationalism. So, our nationalism is in fact bordering to internationalism. That's why the world looks to India. Kanup Dadaji has rightly said, people look to India for new visions, for fresh approaches, for enlightening understanding. And Dada Bhagwan has given us that message in modern times. He is a modern Rishi. A task of a Rishi is to visualize the reality and to make others also to share the same vision. Dada Bhagwan has therefore in his Aptavani given us that vision, and of course a copy has been given to all of you. I hope that you would kindly go through and try to draw out the best from the messages of Dada Bhagwan. So, we must exist, Sat. We must allow others also to exist, because ours is a cooperative existence, but it should be enlightened by Chitta. Sat without Chitta is not meaningful. It is Chitta which provides meaning. Chitta is the invigorating principle, enlivening principle, animating principle, guiding principle, and therefore Sat and Chitta should go together. Sattaiva Bodha, Bodhaiva Satta. The two should go together. Well, Sat without Chitta, I think, is dead existence, inert existence. In fact, there is nothing inert. Even I don't say this is inert. I can say here also there is Sat, there is also Chit here. Of course, Chit is dormant here and needs to be manifested. But where there is this communion of Sat and Chit in the fullest form, in a perfect form, then naturally, inevitably, there will be bliss, Ananda. So, Satchidananda is not a slogan, it's a mode of thinking. It's also a way of living. This is the message that we get from this vibrant campus of this Holistic Science Center. And this is the message of Indian culture. As I said the other day also, the Rishi of the Rigveda did not say in vain or out of pride when the Rishi said about Indian culture, Sa Prathama Sanskruti Vishwavara. Ours is the most ancient culture, but at the same time it is most noble, and therefore it should be followed, adhered to by the entire world. Well, this means a symbiosis of both thought and action. Mere thought is not enough, mere action is not enough. Where there is existence, consciousness, there is bliss, and let's hope that the world will be a place for blissful existence. We do compare, we do contemplate about Swarga, but Swarga should not be in the seventh heaven, it should be right here on the earth. And therefore, we must exist for the present, so that our present may turn into glorious future. on behalf of Asian Philosophy Congress, on behalf of Indian Philosophical Congress, on behalf of Indian Council of Philosophical Research, and on behalf of all of you, I express our heartfelt gratitude to the entire faculty of this Holistic Science Research Center, headed by both Kanu Dadaji and Vasant Dadaji and his entire family, because Taruta Ben is there. Then we have our Bhai Shaileshanandji and Ram Bhai and their spouses, Asim and their spouses are also there. Everyone, the entire family is there to help us, to guide us, and in fact this is what is known as cooperation. They have cooperated us to and mutual caring and sharing. So they lead in fact a holistic life. Well, someone says, well, how can we lead a holistic life? I think this is an example of living a holistic life, to live for others. Of course, when you live for the totality, you also live for yourself, because you are part and parcel of the totality. You are not aloof or bereft of the totality. So if you work for the totality, then we work for yourself as well as for others. In our culture, in fact, we never have a distinction between Nija and Para. We have said, and this is inscribed in the front gate of our parliament, Ayam Paraha Nijo Veti Gadana Lagu Chetasam. Only a mean-minded person would make a distinction between I and thou. We never do so. What we say is I and we. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We are one family. And if we are one family, there has to be mutual caring and sharing. Well, this is leading the life of Satchidananda. So Satchidananda therefore should not be just mere a slogan or an expression of mutual greeting. It should be put to our life, our thoughts and action. So I thank also all of you, particularly the audience, the delegates from India and abroad who have come all the way to make these two conferences successful. In spite of course, journey is not very easy, it is quite tiresome, but you came all the way, and we are grateful to all of you, because without you the conference is soulless. In fact, it would not be at all possible. So I really thank all the delegates for their enlightening deliberations and also encouraging presence. Thank you very much. And finally, on your behalf, I am expressing our gratefulness to entire staff who have worked under the leadership of, say, Lalabhai, and also our other friend Shuklaji, and Harish Bhai, of course, is the main architect. He is architect of not only this building, he is architect of the entire conference also. So we are really grateful to him and Mrs. Because she is also an architect. And without their mutuality, it's just like a chariot which cannot run on one wheel. So both the wheels are equally important. And in fact, it is the women folk which are more important than men folk, to my mind, because it is they who are the real drivers. One of the participants is working on status of women, and I told her that in our culture, status of women is higher than that of men. Yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devata. So we bow down to women folk also. Thank you.
On behalf of VVCRF and Holistic Research Center, we would like to thank Professor S.R. Bhatt for his guiding light ever since the institute has opened 10 years ago. Thank you, sir. I would now like to request Professor S. Panneerselvam for his vote of thanks.
Most revered and respected His Holiness Sri Ganubhai Ji, Dr. Balaji, who delivered the presidential address, our teacher, Professor S.R. Bhatt, the chairman of ICPR, IPC and APC, who has delivered a thought-provoking valedictory address, Vasant Bhai Ji, the local secretary, Lalabhai Patel Ji, my good friend, Professor Balaganapati Ji, and my dear participants. I am here standing in front of you to propose vote of thanks for your kind presence and participation in this 92nd APC, IPC, both. First of all, we are grateful to the kind presence of our Ganu Dadaji, who very rightly said that the centenary celebrations of the IPC will be held in 1925 here. And I hope he will bless us. And we always need his support and blessings. And I am sure that with his guidance of Ganu Dadaji and with the support and guidance of our Professor S.R. Bhatt, will definitely conduct the centenary IPC in this building. I would take 5 minutes. You must. Now, first of all, I would like to tell you the origin of this Congress, origin of this IPC held here. The last year, last February, when we conducted the 91st IPC session at Sanchi University, Shuklaji met me along with Professor Nitin Vyas, and they suggested that why can't you give us a chance to conduct the next IPC in Surat, in our place. The first thing I asked was, do you have proper infrastructure? And then they said, we have everything. You come and see. Then I took the matter to our honorable chairperson. Then he said, no, they have got all facilities, you don't worry. Then, because as a secretary I have to follow certain rules, then I said, we need a letter from you. Because it has to be placed in the executive, Then you won't believe within half an hour they got an email letter. So it was passed unanimously in the executive that the 92nd IPC would be held here. Then when we got the opportunity, I and Professor Balaganapati visited this place, and we are amazed. Because the infrastructure is so nice. I saw that beautiful building they have. And I told them, I think Lalabhai would remember, that in the circular that picture must come. And he has put that. That because that is a holistic approach. It contains everything. And then also we visited all the rooms and all, including toilet, everything we saw. And then, we want to make sure that everything is perfect. Because now the participants are coming. And not only that, they took all the effort and they made the 92nd IPC a grand success, I must say. And as far as I know, more than 350 participants have registered for at the IPC this time. This is a great number, I would say. And when we visited last month this place, Harish Bhai was here, who is the architect of the entire structure, and he said, this is what I am going to do. I was little skeptical because I thought that this is open areas, because the governor is coming out. He said, don't worry, I will take care. And when I saw this arrangement, really I was amazed. And also he said where he is going to have dining and all, everything, he did perfectly well, and we are grateful to him, sir. And another beautiful thing I must tell you is the way in which the holistic science community members, I said, this is really, really as our chairman has said, this is really holistic in nature. In fact, what I learned from them is, I go with a message, humility. There are, take Lalabhai, he is a general manager of, he served as a general manager, retired as a general manager of State Bank of India, but he was so humble, and he is a great architect. And Vasant Bhai is a very important person in US. And all the members, they are very simple, and that humility is their motto. That is something which we are amazed, and you won't believe, many participants told me that they were amazed to see the way in which the thing was arranged. Whatever you want, immediately they will attend to you. And we have been conducting this IPC in various universities and colleges. Sir, to be frank with you, we never had such a beautiful reception. This is the first time that all the members of the IPC, all the delegates of the IPC are so happy, because you took care of everything. I was a little wondering, because how do they receive the participants? They said, yeah. Then he said, no, don't worry, we'll bring all the participants, from either it is from railway station or bus stand or from airport. And they've done it. Or even Bombay, yeah. I traveled from Bombay by car. So, and also, there's, after this departure also they took care. Really, this is very remarkable, and we are grateful to you, sir. And that we can never forget. And I must also thank the entire office people. The way they worked. 11 o'clock till 11 o'clock they were all working. Because our participants, when they are busy, they will go and ask for certificate. Yesterday I saw that. And in spite of that, my sister Yashodhara Kar was attending to them. She is a wonderful person, director as a director. This is something really remarkable. So I take this opportunity to thank the trustees of VVCRF, Mahavid Tirtham, then Aptaputra Trust, Sri Ramanuja Mission Trust, Sri Sachidanand Sangh, Sanathan Samskar Kendraya, Himadnagar, then members of the organizing and event committee, and then staff members of HSRC. I would like to record our thanks to Dr. Yashodhara, Pradeep, Sohini, Alpha. And also we thank the cultural program, who has organized the cultural program coordinators, Harisha and Sharda Patel. And of course, there are many people whom I have not mentioned in this list, please forgive me. But we are all one family members, because since we are talking about holistic science, it includes everybody. So we are very grateful to you, sir, for organizing this in a wonderful manner. And we also thank our Governor, His Excellency Governor, for inaugurating this. And you remember that way in the talk he gave. Unfortunately, I could not understand fully. But in spite of that, I would say that whatever I could understand little, that was something remarkable, I would say. Because basically he was a professor from Delhi University, and this talk was remarkable. And we are very grateful to our chairperson. Of course, he is a member of our family, but it is my responsibility to thank Professor S.R. Bhatt, who gave a theme note address on this topic, because this holistic way of life and living, he has given such a broader perspective. And many participants told me that now the first time they could understand what this holistic life and living means. Because some of them, they were a little skeptical about the usage of the term holistic science. They were asking how this science could be added to that. But sir, talk, this theme note while introducing theme, he gave a very beautiful speech, and we are grateful to you, sir. And today also in this valedictory note, he has given a very beautiful address, and for which we are grateful to you, sir. And I also thank the office bearers of IPC who gave fullest cooperation, and also I thank the delegates. Without you, as Professor Bhatt said, it is soulless. You made it to happen, and we are grateful to you. There may be one or two or some lapses for which I am responsible. I'll take the responsibility along with them, and please forgive me. And I personally thank, number of times I can thank my good friend Lalabhai, because 11 o'clock he will give you a call, 5 o'clock he will get a call, or he will send a SMS or a WhatsApp. Such a dedicated person I never seen in my life, really. So I am grateful to each and every member of this family, because I am also now part and parcel of this holistic family. Yeah. So, and I hope, I request all of you, all research scholars, students, as well as professors, to make use of this center, because they have got a lot of research facilities. And this is because when we go back, you should go with a message. What is that? How can I use this holistic science for my further research? And I would also, you can take the message to your students and ask them to work on Dada Bhagwan's philosophy. This is very much essential. When the round table we are discussing how to make Dadabhai's philosophy relevant in the contemporary period. In fact, I was arguing that this should be included in the curriculum, university and college curriculum. So that is possible provided you take this message to your students and colleagues so that they will be benefited. Because now IPC people come, go, that is not important for us. There should be some message. The message is that the holistic philosophy or the holistic way of life and living should reach the entire cosmos. This is with this I conclude. And I thank all of you for your kind presence and participation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Panneerselvam. Thank you for your kind words, and we look forward to reading your book when it does come out. I would now like to invite Lalabhai Patel for his concluding remarks.
IPC and HSRC have entered into one memorandum of understanding. Henceforth, beginning this year itself, we will have every year on a perennial basis endowment lectures on holistic science of life and living revealed by Dada Bhagwan. So I request Professor Bhatt to sign that MOU on behalf of IPC. Myself, our Vasant Bhai and Panneerselvam ji have already signed. So this one thing in this holy moments, we'll do this. There is another announcement. Every year henceforth there will be an essay competition conducted by IPC on the same topic, holistic science of life and living as revealed by Dada Bhagwan. Various topics we will be giving. So this is another MOU. And I request, okay, we have donated rupees 5 lakh for endowment lecture series on perennial basis, and for essay competition via the HSRC has donated rupees 1 lakh rupees. Interest of this amount will be used for this related honorarium, etc. So this is one thing, I thank for that. Now some other announcements. First, say some people have weekly trains. Some of them have after 2 days a train, especially people from northeast. So don't hesitate, you can stay 2 days more. Okay, you will have food and everything available in our Madhavi Mehta dining rooms. So don't worry about that. Today you will have dinner here only, the same place, but from tomorrow you will have dinner in Madhavi Mehta dining hall, just adjacent. So don't worry about it. I am announcing this on behalf of Devchand Bhai. Then departures you must register. Although you may have emailed me everything, still please register your departures on the departure desk so that everything can be organized, your transport from this place to railway station, airport, Bombay, whatever that can be done. So please do this meticulously. Then, if you want any publications, you can say, suppose as Professor Bhatt announced, say this is some knowledge you have got, and books also we have given, many of you, we have given the books as a token. So you can use that knowledge, and we are not that strict about that. You can use that knowledge, write in your lexicons. But whenever you write something about holistic science of life and living, revealed by Dada Bhagwan, please send us a copy for publication in our magazine, or at least for just safekeeping here in our office. This one thing. Then, any of you, senior scholars especially, would like to work or provide services as an honorary member of academic advisory, please email me. After reading this book, suppose something appeals to you and you would like to work more with this institution in future, please email me with your biodata. The board may consider your interest. It should be the mutual interest. This one announcement, Mickey. Another announcement we have made already about the short-term fellowship courses, residential fellowship. That also you can do. Scholars, research scholars especially, we are going to start a certificate course in holistic science of life and living. If you are interested, it will be a distance learning course. You can email me, and we can, depending on the number of participants, we can commence that course from the next April onwards. So this is another announcement. Now, next endowment lecture, as I said, on behalf of HSRC, I request Dr. Bala Ganpati, my friend, to accept our request to deliver next endowment lecture in next meeting, going to be held, I think, at Bodh Gaya. I am requesting our academic advisor, Professor Nitin Vyas, to accept on our behalf invitation of Mr. Panneerselvam to accept sectional president in next IPC. So this is one thing. Then another request, I request Professor Bhatt to elaborate more by way of article on Satchidanand. We'll be very happy. It will be recorded, and we may again publish it as a booklet from your side. See, Dada Bhagwan is to tell, Gnan Dan is the biggest Dan. Right? One has a talent, just it comes to mind. See, to become a scholar, you have to focus your entire talent on learnings. And when you focus your entire talent to learning, you can't focus that on earning. Okay. But though the knowledge you acquire and knowledge you share, it's the biggest donation. It is biggest donation. I remember what Dada Bhagwan told to Professor Amin when he was in his younger days. He offered some donations. Dada Bhagwan said, I don't want your currency notes. I require your involvement and Vidyadan. And that has been doing as a lifetime goal. I request at this juncture also Sri Devchand Bhai to honor Professor Amin Saheb. He has been a constant motivator for us for academic activity. I request Devchand Bhai, please take the shawl there to Devchand Bhai. Please. You won't believe, he would be sending some dry fruits every day since through our seminar for me, just to maintain my energy level. So that way, he said, I am sending you some tonic and medicines, he was telling. And I believe he is not keeping well for many years, but I can observe he has recovered a lot after seeing this event. He is so happy, happiness. Thank you, Devchand Bhai. Now I request Devchand Bhai again to honor our academic advisor, another academic advisor, Professor Nitin Vyas. Please take the shawl to Professor Nitin Vyas and token. Devchand Bhai, I request you, Nitin Vyas ne सम्मानित करो. Jemne, although he is academic advisor, you must have seen him all through sitting on the registration desk. He was receiving the guests. So, thank you, Nitin Bhai Vyas. He has encouraged us. Two more announcements. I would like to share, Dadaji. I have got so many new friends here. One, Professor Do Thu Ha from Vietnam. She may not be here right now. If she is there, please come forward. She has offered on her own to translate I'll call Professor Yun Su Cho also, Professor Marjana, Professor Victoria. Professor Yun Su Cho is here. I saw her somewhere. Yes. Friends, see. If Vedika is there, Vedika, if he is there, she is there. So, friends, they are very senior professors, and please clap your hand. They have my special thanks to all of them that they have continued till the valediction of this seminar. This conference is both the conferences they have attended. So my special thanks to them, plus mostly all of them, Dosuha and Vedika expressly told me that they will work in their country. Even Vedika wants to appeal our university to conduct some courses on Dada Bhagwan's knowledge in Mauritius. Dosuha also told similar thing to me. She is very interested. I have told them, you study this literature for 2-3 months, then decide upon that. And Marjana and Victoria, they are very great scholars. I have been told by my friend Bala Ganpati. I didn't know that. I have not been able, I know very well, I have not been able to put them in enough facilities. We had simply hired hotels just near, just looking to the vicinity, and we could not put them in 4- or 5-star hotels. Please bear with us and don't feel otherwise. Say, we are a very small group. All of you would thank you. Thank you. Please occupy your seats now. Thank you very much. Thank you. And to all of you, I have a message. Say, generally, as Professor Panneerselvam told, this is a kind of program It is not a cup of tea for such a small organization. It is only for universities. And you may not be knowing, some of you have been knowing also, I am informed, like 3 idiots. We are 6 idiots here working. So Kanu Dadaji has drafted our services, and is any time we try to get out, he again throws us in the same. We fight with each other. See, when you want to do something, there is a fight always. But still he is throwing. There you have to remain there. One word I remember, if you don't remain in this kind of clashes, दादाजी શું કયો શબ્દ કયો આપે? શાલિગ્રામ. He said, you will not become Shaligram unless you remain together. So that is many times it rejoins us. Vasant Bhai again is our great motivator. But whenever I feel, I had a cardiac arrest also 3 years before. Whenever I feel I should only take rest, I look to him. Then I again regain the energies. So he is a driving force behind us. Dadaji 87, see his vigor. So definitely this is one thing which I wanted all of you to know. So these are our limited strengths we have, especially manpower wise. So we are performing multiple roles. Okay, this time I performed the role of local secretary. So never I have allowed my role as a trustee to come in between. And I told my friend Harish Bhai also that I am not a trustee for 15 days. Okay, and he accepted. So like that, we have to do that. I am representing, I said, Balaganpati and Panneerselvam. That's all. Okay. So this is how we have tried to match, and we have a very strong backing of our friends and our family members also. So various sections of your services were being provided by them. Today morning I started counting. More than 100 people were working throughout day and night to make this successful. They are behind us. They are behind us. So I thank all of them first of all. And to begin with my note of thanks, I am now beginning. First I thank my friend Dr. Balaji Ganorkar. We have fought enough, I tell you. Because both are argumentative. But he will prevail. He will prevail, I tell you. He has broken many traditions and brought us on track so that it regains or remains as a pure academic institution as Kanu Dadaji wanted us to do. So he has prevailed, and he made me local secretary, I tell you frankly. I didn't know what is local secretary, I don't know what is IPC, I don't know IPC. Okay, he said, Lalabhai, you have to perform as local secretary. I said, you are the director, you should do that. I don't know anything. He said, no, I say you have to do that. So he can vertically delegate, you say. But I have so much of affection for him, so he will. And he has a sixth sense. Out of our group, Harish Bhai and Balaji have sixth sense. They can speak something which will happen, right? So that is what I would admit. And he had a blueprint he had given. And as usual, my nature is when we take up, definitely we'll do it. We generally, Dadaji, what he has taught us is, don't do anything for the sake of doing. So whatever we do not for the sake of doing or that mere formality. So that's spirit which he has created in us, that is working. You may see anything good you see, that our great masters, Kanu Dadaji and Dada Bhagwan, whatever bad you see, whatever deficiency you see belongs to us, so far remaining unrectified, but we are deciding every day to rectify whenever it comes to our notice. This is one thing. Now, to begin with, I thank all the participants. They have given overwhelming response to our call. Overwhelming. I came to know, say, we issued the circular. For circular, I took Harish Bhai's help, that we want to have a beautiful circular. and he beautified it, Pradeep and he, right? They beautified it, and it has definitely conveyed the message that it is a hearty invitation. Scholars have responded to well from all over the country and abroad, so I am thankful to all of you. I thank especially those professors who have come along with their students. To name a few, Mr. Mao, please stand up. He brought, would you believe, he brought 47 students, Dadaji, 47 students from Northeast. I can tell you, I don't hesitate to reveal, Kanu Dadaji has special love and affection for Northeast. So that meeting also I told, I informed him about some translations, then immediately he's told, what are you doing for Assamese language? So like that, so he has a lot of, and you have responded to it, and another was Jagdish Patkar and Aligarh, a special clapping for Aligarh Muslim University. Sir, I forgotten your name, but he has led a group of around 20 students. Half of them, even more than half, are the girls. So that's a great thing he has done. Thank you for reposing trust on us, and this affection and love you have showed by coming from a long distance, and that too by train travel. Thank you very much, sir. And Northeast girls, we also tried to entertain. They never saw the sea, sir, Dadaji. So today morning I say, okay, when you come, so we arrange a small trip to sea. So I think those girls would be happy now. So this is one thing, addition we had to their request. Now, then another Professor Tabassum, she has also brought, and many other, I know, even Professor Saha has also brought her students. Now I thank Governor of Gujarat, and he had not come, he would not have come if we don't have the backing of Professor S.R. Bhatt. We don't have the courage to go there. We don't have. So many a time Professor Bhatt would make me some suggestions which I feel very much awkward. Because I think I am not capable of doing it. He say, you try some political people. I say, we are, sir, we are non-political people, we don't know anybody. But still he will advise, and we have done, by especially inauguration, by Iran governor, Iran councillor, also he arranged. And in my heart, there was some wish I shared with my wife, that there should be a band. But how do that? But see, governor came and band also came. So it was a grand beginning. So I thank specially to Governor of Gujarat as well as Iran councillor. I request my staff, please come here. Sohini Ben, Yashodhara Ben, Alpa, Pradeep, wherever they are, immediately they are here only. I kept them waiting. All of you know them, but how much should I thank to them? They are highly disciplined people, highly disciplined people. I have worked. They are all professionals. They say the professional definition, you see, we use the word professional many times, but the definition of word professional, sir, is management parlance is the one who does not need reminders, who does not require to be reminded for anything. These four I can certify. They don't need any reminder. So that is thanks to you. Dadaji's blessings are with you. I thank Sadhviji from Ladno, Samniji from Ladno for having come by long distance by train, and definitely she has her rules and regulations to follow. Thank you, and she has continued to the end. Then I thank all those who have given endowment lectures. I am sorry I was not able to listen everything, but definitely I am going to listen word to word when I go home. Speakers from symposium, I thank ICPR, ICHR, SRMT, Aptaputra Trust, donors. Again, my friend Balaji Shuklaji for taking this. I should not thank him. Then Gunwant Patel, our secretary, Suresh Bhai, Ilaben, we are all part of them, but very meticulous planning. So some people are asking me, that's why I am giving your name. In nutshell, I can tell you, whatever beauty you see here, whatever beauty and aesthetic you see here, thanks to Harish Bhai and Jyoti Ben. We have no that sense, I tell you. I admitted I don't have that sense. Okay, it is thanks to them, special thanks already. Then, planning, especially arranging so many parallel sessions, only Suresh Bhai can do. He is from Michigan body. I request him to stand up. And he's an engineer. So he's an engineer, mechanical engineer, so he wants everything meticulous. And he was, every time, unless he's satisfied, he would say, this is not there, this is not there. And he has handled, both of Ilab and Suresh Bhai, they handled very, very complex matter, which I doubt whether I would have been able to do, so that nothing clashes. So they have arranged this. Thank you, Suresh Bhai. Then I have one Sandeep. If Sandeep is here, Sandeep has helped us a lot for graphics, whatever boards and everything you see. He has worked day and night, I tell you. But he has done everything with a short time, printing everything he has done. Then transport, Bhagirath, overall in charge, Premal, Surat in charge, Sheetal, Bombay in charge, and Parimal. They are, and their team, it's a very big team. Okay, day and night, they won't sleep. Still, they have arranged. Then, campus management, he is the host, campus host, Devchand Bhai is there, but Anil Bhai represents him. So Anil Bhai, if he is here, I request all of you to recognize him. If he is there, he must be busy, I believe. But Anil Bhai is the general manager of the entire campus. He has helped us a lot right from the beginning. Then for liaison work, government, etc. Pratap Singh Jala, if he is here, I definitely mention, because liaison with police department and various other offices he has been doing. For Venu, food and rooms, Devchand Bhai, you are the host. And so you have provided us food and Venu, everything, this place as well as residential rooms. And so many people have said that menu has been very full of varieties, excellent food. So thank you very much. Only thing, people from south, they did not get rice every time and idlis every time. I think never we gave idli, because I told them frankly, if you ask idli, I will give idli like a stone. So don't expect idlis, whatever is available, okay. So that is how, from Punjab also they wanted some rice, but they have bared with us, because our lunch was a executive lunch, so that you don't doze. Knowing fully, we have not given Wi-Fi here, so that we give Wi-Fi, all your intellect and chitta will be in Wi-Fi and all WhatsApp, and so knowingly, sir, we have not provided Wi-Fi campus to them, so that you can learn. Okay. So these are some things which I wanted to share. I want to thank catering people, who have managed very well. Swami Shaileshanandji, our leader for catering, and he has done it well. I don't think he has even entered this place. He has been remained there and there all time, looking after this, that. See, the proper food serving and management is there. Mukesh Patel, he was there, and their team. Some last minute sponsors, nothing can happen without money, all of you know. So many people have supported us, but I especially thank second to Madhavi D, Magan Bhai, and trustees of Himmatnagar Jai Sachidan Sangh people who helped us, Parsotam Patel family, Aptaputra Trust, they have provided us this knowledge support and coordination, mobilizing the volunteers, etc. SRMTs, Sri Ramanuja Mission Trust, without knowing us, they offered, just because of their relations with Professor S.R. Bhatt, they became joint co-sponsor of one special session on Far East India's thoughts. Okay, it was a wonderful topic and it has added value. I thank ICPR, ICHR and their executives who came here, Professor Rajni Shukla, etc. For registration, Manubhai Bhavsar, he has been very much helpful to us and has done last minute, Samal Bhai, Dasarath Bhai and their team. For video, photography and online broadcast, Jitu Bhai, Ramesh, Ruchir, Prakash and their team. At this juncture, I'd like to announce the photographs and videos, links you will see within next 15-20 days, put on our website. Please keep watching. And anything special you want, then also you can email us anything which has happened here in this hall. It has been fully videographed, right? So that we will be happy to share those links, nothing confidential. I thank Dr. J.C. Patel, his family and their team for a bookstall, stage management, Hila Patel, Jyoti Ben and their team. And we cannot forget my friend who was introduced by Dr. Balaji, Dr. Baldevanand Sagar. He helped us a lot in announcement, all of you know. And Mrs. Shalini Sagar, they helped us all through these important first 3 days in announcement. Then cultural program, Harisha, Sharda Patel and their team. Yoga also we have tried to provide these demos, etc. That Hina Patel, Haren Gandhi, Lalit Kachadia. Academic team. So as I told you, we are an institution, we have everybody other than academicians. We are an academic institution, we did not have any full-time academicians. Okay, so Dr. Godavrish Mishra has helped us wherever, proofreading, editing, everything he has helped us, all manual work without any expectations. He was helping us. Then he was helped by Yashodhara, Hila Patel, Shaileshanandji, etc. And Gunwant Bhai, another Gunwant Bhai, who has created this infrastructure, our contractor for Mandap and Pandal. So these are all those things. I may have forgotten some names. As I told you, more than 100 people are there. Then last but not least, people who keep us motivated. Vasant Bhai, Amin Sahib, Devchand Bhai, Balaji, and our inspirer Dada Bhagwan, Kanu Dadaji, as well as unseen deities. This kind of organization is impossible, I tell you. Unseen deities are there here. All of you must have been feeling some serene atmosphere. That is because of, I believe, great deities are here to support this cause, which has no any personal interest, no vested interest. Just we are interested in humanity, as it's told by Dada Bhagwan. So with this, I request all of you to stand up. Harish Bhai want to say something. You can add to word of thanks.
I'm not part of the schedule, but my wife is moderator, so I stole some minutes from her. ये सब सुनने के बाद दिल में, ये सुनने के बाद, इतने दिन साथ रहने के बाद दिल में कुछ होता है. दिल में कुछ होता है, होठों पे हंसी होती है. तो आओ मेरे साथ मिलकर गाए 3 अक्षरों का एक शब्द. गाएंगे आप साथ में? आनंद आनंद आनंद
आनंद आनंद आनंद
आनंद आनंद आनंद
आनंद आनंद आनंद।
दिल में भी आनंद है, जहां देखो वहां भी आनंद है। अभी सब हम लोग जाएंगे अपने अपने घर में, तो लेके जाएंगे क्या? तो आनंद आनंद आनंद
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 आनंद आनंद आनंद। So the last few words say in Gujarati for goodbye. See Gujarati, in Gujarati there is no word for goodbye. We say avjo, that means come again. There is no word of goodbye. A goodbye word is not there in Gujarati, so we call avjo. We are not parting, we are meeting again in 100th centenary of Indian Philosophical Congress. Along we are having and yes, and Asian Philosophy Conference again Balaganpati will have it, whatever kram. Yes? Yeah. So now I request all of you to rise for national anthem. All of us, please. And after the anthem is over, we'll have a photograph with Kanu Dadaji. We'll have 2-3 photographs, one with IPC, APC office bearers first, and then remaining scholars and everybody. Our Jitubai is capable of doing that. So we'll start Janagana Mana. Janagana Mana Adhinayak Jaya Hai Bharat Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindh Punjab Sindh Gujarat I'm sure the soul of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore and Dr. Radhakrishnan, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, definitely they will bless us for having organized this IPC established by them before 91 years, sir. Thank you very much.